Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the dark corridors inside Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 37, The Lost Prophecy.
Boy, howdy. Talk about the conversation at the end of the year that Harry and Dumbledore have that just reveal all sorts of hidden secrets and gems.
I know. It is time for the Harry and Dumbledore annual conversation, and boy, is this the possibly biggest one ever.
Yeah, this is really the because I mean, Harry is going to have a conversation with Dumbledore in Half-Blood Prince, where Dumbledore is sort of like, I need to continue to have more, conversation with you that we had not had before. And Harry's like, I thought you said you were doing that last year, bruh.
Yeah, bruh.
And he's like, well, I told you everything I knew. We are now entering into the realm of guesswork. I'm about to tell you some of my best guesses.
Yeah, Dumbledore finally in Harry's sixth year is like, maybe we can talk more than like once a year.
You know, hey, it's like, what if we do it like twice a week?
Heck, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pick you up from the Dursleys. How about that, huh? Huh?
Good.
Pretty good, eh?
Yes. But as ever, before we dive on into the chapter proper, we got to take a quick look at the chapter art, where we get just a incredibly aged looking illustration of one Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing that I keep in my mind when looking at this particular piece of chapter art. Dumbledore sort of has this sort of duality to him. And it's funny because we get this very pinpointed in another book series that you and I love, The Name of the Wind, where the main character has this red hair, and it's at times it is described as flame red hair and his leaf green eyes. And then at other times it's his hair was red, simply red. It's almost as if when they have the lightning on their shoulders, they exude a certain strength and confidence.
An aura. Yeah.
Exactly. And as Dumbledore sits here, it's his hands are folded. He looks tired. He looks old. But you have to remember that this is also the same person who literally just kicked Voldemort's butt fewer than 20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago, he was just locked in combat doing his thing, having a pleasant conversation about the deepest branches of magic.
Exactly. Right. Yes. So it's you get the kind of a different flair for Dumbledore with this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's because he looks so tired here, but I don't even think it's tiredness. I think it is just this it is dread more than anything, because he is about to have the conversation he has dreaded having for the last 15 years. And it's now the moment's here. And not only that, but I managed to preface it with letting Harry's godfather die, which I'm going to take blame for right here. And God, I already didn't want to have this conversation, and now Harry's super mad at me, and for good reason.
And for good reason, yeah. And then as this chapter unfolds, a huge amount of what we're going to learn isn't that Dumbledore is revealing information he's only just discovered to Harry. He is just finally feeling like it is time to reveal this information. And the big thing that Dumbledore, on some level, I'm sure on his mind, he was thoughtfully trying to be considerate about, is preserving Harry's youth.
Yeah.
And it is interesting when you get more information about Dumbledore's youth, that how this might reflect back on this particular chapter. And a piece of context to keep in mind is that Dumbledore leaves Hogwarts himself, winning every prize the school had to offer, however many OWLs, it never really says, but we can assume close to 12. I assume 11 without divination.
Right. Yeah.
is my guess. But he was getting ready to go to his world tour. He was going to just become great, and then immediately Ariana falls ill and he has to cancel the world tour, and it kind of goes on without him. And now he's sort of stuck. And so even what Dumbledore is attempting to preserve in Harry, it's a more youthful version than what maybe Dumbledore feels he lost somewhere along the way, but you can understand why he values it as something worth preserving.
Yeah, and there's a really interesting narrative framing that's going to happen in this chapter, and I'll get to it when we get to it. But it shoots an arrow all the way to the very last chapter of the book.
It does. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. That's a good one to allude to, but not talk about too early. So otherwise, per the chapter art, I love this depiction of Dumbledore. I think it looks amazing, and I appreciate the tiredness because I don't think it's for a lack of power. I think it is for more emotional exhaustion as to what he has to deliver to Harry. So with that said, Jay, would you like to kick us off with the first sentence of the chapter?
Absolutely, I would. Harry's feet hit solid ground again. His knees buckled a little, and the Golden Wizard's head fell with a resounding clunk to the floor. And then the dragons arrived.
This would be a bad time.
This would be a bad time. This is like out of the fire and into the inferno, you know?
That's exactly right. Yeah. Although he doesn't take the fire, despite the fact that Portkeys, what he took. Flu powder was available in immediate proximity. And we know that Dumbledore is about to arrive via flu powder himself.
Right.
You know, so he does not come directly out of the fire, even though he could.
Even though he could have. And just a reminder from last time, Harry has got the Golden Wizard's head here, which Dumbledore in the next book, in the Horcruxes chapter, Harry's going to be like, oh, but the Horcruxes could be anything. They could be like pieces of litter or old cans. And he's like, you're thinking of Portkeys, Harry, which must be innocuous pieces of junk so that people don't find them.
Exactly.
So one is that obviously he's turning the Golden Wizard's head into a Portkey because he thinks of it as a piece of junk. And two, Harry drops it and it makes a resounding clunk because it's super heavy. But Dumbledore, if you'll recall, lifted it with one hand and cast the spell on it and is as strong as a phoenix. So
yes, yeah, lots of good things there. Even the fact, and I read it with a whole new context after you brought this up after last week, because it says Harry's feet hit solid ground again. His knees buckled a little, and it's like, yeah, because you're holding a kettlebell,
right?
You know, it's like, of course,
if not more,
if not likely more, if anything. So that is a funny one. He doesn't hold on to it for any amount of time at all.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's magically glued to his hand.
Dumbledore is holding it to him, and he's like, "Here you go, Harry." And as soon as Harry grabs it, it's like, "Oh!"
Yeah, it's like a comical, like from a cartoon where you hand, like one character can hand a comically heavy thing to the other person and then their arms like drop to the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Faster than their body.
There's a guy I'm following on Instagram right now, and he's like this insane bodybuilder, but he's got like the smallest frame ever.
Okay.
And his like whole shtick on Instagram is that he'll wear this jumpsuit and that like covers up all of his muscles, and he'll just pretend to be the janitor or whatever, and he'll go up to like giant muscle guys and be like, "Do you mind if I like work set with you? Can I work in?" And they're like, "Oh, dude, this is too heavy for you." And he's like, "This is not heavy. No, what? No."
And then he does like,
but then he's also got this like mop, and he like hands them the mop, but even the mop is like 30 kilograms. It's like some outrageous weight, and he just like casually hands it to them, and they always grab it, and they're like,
"Oh, that's
jerks them down."
I love that.
It's so funny. I was like, it's the same joke over and over and over, and I love it every single time. But that's what I feel like Dumbledore is. He's just like this. He looks like this old man in his big robes, but like secretly underneath, he's like super jacked, you know.
So it's like one of those things where it's almost like Dumbledore is sort of like he's
Dumbledore, man. Dumbledore, because he's hitting them irons, you know.
That was too good.
Yeah,
it's
right?
too good. Yeah, Dumbledore, he wants a drink with somebody so bad, but he can't even throw off the quality of his routine because nobody's letting him in. It's like I just need a day from being perfect, you know?
Right. And he's like, "Look, I'm slamming protein shakes left and right. Can someone please have a beer with me? I need something else to consume." They're like, "I can't do it, Dumbledore. No."
I know. It really is a testament to how serious he's taking the conversation that's about to happen, that he's not like, "Harry, would you like a drink?"
You want a drink? You know what might make us feel a little better? How about a couple of Ogden's Old Fire whiskey? You know what I mean? Like, you're maybe not quite old enough, but I'm feeling generous, and you look like you could use a bit of a pick-me-up, and quite frankly, so could I.
Right, yes. It's been a long evening.
It's been a long evening. I had to fight like 11 people or something. My entire army was defeated swiftly. Swiftly.
They cannot do it without me. Let me tell you. They were losing, and then I showed up and we won.
I can tell you what, if you guys ever lose me, look out, it's not good.
Fast forward.
It's not going to happen. Don't worry, Harry. I'm amazing. Just see me whoop Voldemort tonight.
Fast forward to 1 book from now.
1 book from now, don't worry, I wouldn't like arrange it or something.
And not tell you about it.
I would not tell you about it.
Be so rude.
Yeah. I'll prepare you
right.
in secret ways.
Right. So obviously, though, then as we continue, Harry looks around and sees that he had arrived in Dumbledore's office. Everything seemed to have prepared itself during the headmaster's absence. The delicate silver instrument stood again upon the spindle-legged table. So if you recall, this is the result of the last time that we were in Dumbledore's office, which is like the Dumbledore's got style situation where Dumbledore uses like Fawkes to exit in a fury of flames and wings and feathers and stuff like that.
Arm and tooth and fingernail.
Precisely. Yeah. But in that particular incident, like a lot of things got blown in a bunch of different directions, including the silver instruments, which are now back on their spindle-like tables. But it also says that like the portraits are back to speak to Harry and be like, it's been very dull without Dumbledore, very dull indeed. So it's like, this is sort of an interesting nature about the headmaster's office that I think is worth taking like a little bit of a glimpse at, because we kept saying like, well, what if Dumbledore's just like, it's barred itself from Umbridge. What if Dumbledore's just like up there?
He's just up there, man.
He's just living in his quarters doing his thing. But the portraits would suggest that he has not been there.
I know, right? I mean, to me, it's not impossible that he like flitted in and was like, "No, sorry guys, just real quick, I just wanted to straighten up because like I was thinking about it and it was like keeping me up at night. Like, oh my god, all my stuff is on the ground and just hold on, just real quick." I'm out. I'm out. For real this time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
What I really like though about the idea that like this room is almost like self-regenerating in a capacity is that like that is almost the tenacity of the spirit of Hogwarts in a way. Like it's like the heart. And maybe it is the heart if Hogwarts was in fact a dragon.
Was a dragon, and this is where his heart was. Yeah,
exactly. But it's like, because even in this chapter, like Harry's going to be like smashing everything, and Dumbledore's like, continue smashing my possessions. I dare say I have too many. It's like the other thing too, probably in the back of Dumbledore's mind is like, you can't destroy them. They will just come back. And sure enough, when Harry re-arrives to Dumbledore's office in Half-Blood Prince, they will all be puffing and whirring serenely as they always are and always will be.
Do you suppose that Harry, because it's like he says he looked around and saw as he arrived, everything seemed to have repaired itself. Do you think in the back of his mind he's like, oh, okay, cool. It'll repair itself. That means it's okay to smash it.
Maybe subconsciously he's sort of like, okay, something seems fishy about this. But also like within, this would be kind of nice as far as like being a wizard is concerned. Like there's those smash rooms where you can go and like take a baseball bat and just like hit a bunch of stuff or whatever to like let your, I don't know.
Yeah. Let your rage out.
A good cathartic response.
Right.
But like, wouldn't it be nice to be like, I can throw a glass at the wall and then just like repair it. And then there's no glass left anywhere because all the bits just go back to it and everything's fine and nobody's been hurt. And
I love magic.
This is the best.
This is the best.
But wizards never upset.
Right.
They can always smash something should they need to.
Do you think if a dog shed on the carpet or something and you were like, Reparo, all the hair would go back?
Or does it forms into like a new dog? Not even a dog. It's just like the hair is floating where the hair like exited the dog in this like wafty shape of what a dog might look like. There it goes.
It's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Talk about Air Bud. Am I right?
Air Bud indeed. Right. And all that fur is really good at basketball.
That's right. Yep. Anyway, then we're going to get a reference to something that is also going to continue to come up throughout the course of the chapter. And I think it's really no mistake. Yeah. So a couple of chapters ago, when we've got like the Death Eaters confronting Harry and everybody, there's a spell that goes awry and a bunch of the prophecies fall on the ground. And so we hear a couple of like blips. And one of them is, at the solstice will come anew. And then the other one says, and none will come after. And what's kind of interesting about the timing of all of this is that the evening at which Harry arrived at the Department of Mysteries is June 20th, which means that this conversation as the sun is rising is June 21st, which is also the summer solstice.
Boom.
And so it's like we're going to get a lot of imagery throughout the chapter of what the sun is doing.
Yeah.
But the very first line, and I also feel like this is very intentional. It says there was a cool line of pale green along the horizon. Dawn was approaching. So this is weird because there isn't pale green during sunrise. Like
right. It's usually like orange.
It's usually
and
orange.
red. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, and it's the kind of thing that you can blink and miss and not really pay attention to the fact there's pale green. But the obvious symbolism here is that it's sort of like, in my mind, it's almost like Voldemort in some ways may have owned the night, but Dumbledore owns the day. And so like that pale green is almost like the expiration date on the night that might be, stricken by the acts of Voldemort and his cronies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But a new day rises.
It is, and it says, because the next line is dawn was approaching, which has like a very much like it is a new dawn, but the new dawn is the second war.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so maybe that's even what's coming at the solstice.
Right.
Is like the beginning of the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's always weird too, because the first Wizarding War is against Voldemort and the second Wizarding War is against Voldemort. And it's like, it tends to feel, from my perspective, like one war, not two distinct different wars.
Right.
But there is a bit of spacing involved. And if you were to imagine like World War I and World War II, like in the scope of history, they happen rather close to one another, but they are decidedly different events.
Right.
So
well, it's not like they were fighting like the Nazis both times.
Correct. Also
right.
True. Yes. And so there are some differences in that particular analogy, but either which way, Second Wizarding War is like officially on.
Yeah. I mean, even the centaurs say it's like the wizard kind is experiencing a brief pause between two conflicts, which even that sounds like, the fighting is just like paused.
Exactly.
I think they even say the fighting must soon break out again. It's like, it is the same war in some ways.
And I feel like you were beating a dead horse a little bit here because we always bring this up, but in the scope
Cedric?
of like, is that what you would name the horse? Oh no. How does it always happen? Anyway, people around the world just let out a giggle. I hope. What was I going to say though? I completely lost my train of thinking here. Now that
feels like we're beating a dead Cedric.
In the scope of Voldemort's long-term objectives of becoming immortal, the fact that this has taken like 15 years is barely like a blink of the eye.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, it really hasn't been very long, especially as far as Voldemort's ongoing battle is concerned.
Exactly. He's like, you know what? All this is just like, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be here literally forever.
Exactly.
Right. I got to start thinking in long-term terms.
Right. Yes. I think in centuries.
Yes. I think in centuries. It's okay for stuff to take a while. Of course, it doesn't matter because he's not going to make it.
Exactly.
But let's see. Next we have, if his surroundings could have been reflected, the feelings inside him, the pictures would have been screaming in pain. So basically just reminding you, Harry is going through the stages of grief right now. And he is now about to be, it always goes like denial, anger, bargaining, rationalizing, acceptance, I think, right? Is that the order? Depression is in there. Maybe?
Depression is in there. Yeah, instead of rationalizing.
Yes. Bargaining, rationalizing, the same thing. Bargaining, depression, acceptance. They don't have to go in that order necessarily, and you can go forward and backwards a bunch. So he's definitely backslid into the anger section here.
Yeah, he's anger, and then we'll even see here in the next chapter again, then he'll go right back into like bargaining or denial.
Yeah. Maybe you can come back.
Exactly. Yes. So it's a very interesting, like you can't think of the stages of grief as linear. It's just sort of like when experiencing grief, you're going to toggle between all these.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what's happening to him right now. But obviously he has had zero time to process the passing of Sirius at all. All he saw was it happen. He barely had time to accept it before Voldemort showed up, and then Voldemort possessed him, and then Dumbledore showed up, and now he's back here, and it's like the action is stopped and all of it's just crashing over him.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's going to say it was his fault Sirius had died. It was all his fault.
Ooh, no.
If Harry had not been stupid enough to fall for Voldemort's trick.
Voldemort's trick?
Exactly. Yes. It's like, it's right there. Right there.
Right there, Harry.
If he had not been so convinced that what he had seen in his dream was real, if he had only had opened his mind to the possibility that Voldemort was, as Hermione said, banking on Harry's love of playing the hero.
Yeah. Harry obviously hates being used in this way to have been like lured to the Department of Mysteries, but it's still definitely Voldemort to blame. He's still the one who tricked you into doing it.
It is. And it's like, and it was like a multi-layered thing that was extremely difficult because like on the one hand, and like Dumbledore is even going to say like, I should have given you more information that this could have happened. And I didn't do that.
Right.
And to Harry's credit, he did break into Umbridge's office, like with his team of comrades. And he did go to number 12 Grimmauld Place and he did ask Creature where he was. And Creature did confirm that he was at the Department of Mysteries.
Right. Like he tried to check. And the last time this happened, it was real.
We've already seen this happen once before, and Arthur was seriously injured, and so it's like there's a lot of corroborating reasons why you would be like, yes, it feels like I had the trappings of what happened last time, and here I am again.
Right.
But I mean, of course, like Harry's just I don't know whether it's like nobility or just too close to the situation or the grief of it all, but of course he's going to blame himself.
Yeah. But so he's saying that there was a terrible hollow inside him he did not want to feel or examine. A dark hole where Sirius had been, a black hole, you might say.
Yeah, nailed it.
Where Sirius had vanished. He did not want to have to be alone with that great silent space. He could not stand it. This is so hard to face by yourself. Ed's like right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, and that's exactly it. It's like right now, I can almost liken it to, I like to do the occasional like ice bath type of situation.
Yeah.
And not to try to compare something I do optionally to someone's very real grief, but for the purposes of the comparison, when you dip into an ice bath, I do it with my wife, Alice, and a lot of times like she will be like staring me in the eyes being like, you are okay. Breathe, everything is fine. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I know, like I came down to the basement to buy like trough thing to do this on purpose. Like, of course I knew that, but it is also very helpful to hear in that moment of just like, holy crap, you know, like my body feels like it's being stabbed by 1,000 daggers right now. It's just kind of like, you're okay, you're safe, everything's fine, breathe. It's like the worst thing after experiencing extreme tragedy is being placed in a room of complete silence, completely alone.
Yeah. And that's exactly where he is. And he just has to sort of wait for Dumbledore to come here because he absolutely does not want to examine this feeling just yet because it is going to be painful whenever he gets to it.
Yes.
And he's already just still in shock.
Yeah.
Yes. But we get some chat with the portraits on the wall, specifically Phineas Nigellus, who's going to be a right old butt until he finds out that Sirius is dead. He says, the office is supposed to be barred all but the rightful headmaster. Or has Dumbledore sent you here? Oh, don't tell me. Another message from my worthless great-great-grandson. It's like, oh boy. But the fun part here is that it is the reveal that the office never recognized Umbridge, and you get a little bit more. It's like, this is barred to the rightful headmaster.
That's exactly it. Yes, it's very interesting to me that like the headmaster portraits recognize or can explain to you this particular piece of lore, which also I guess could be a tell in Deathly Hallows when you've got the conversation where they're talking about Ginny breaking into the headmaster's office to steal the Sword of Gryffindor.
Right.
And it's Snape's office, and it is allowed Snape inside.
Right.
It's like,
even that should be a bit of a tell to the reader.
Exactly. It's like the school, it's like, never mind being taken over by the Caros and whoever else. The school would not recognize somebody that it does not know to be good for the school.
Right.
At least in some capacity, because I guess Phineas Nigellus is not exactly the world's most likable headmaster, and he surely occupied the office at some point in time. However, I still feel like there's a big piece of like, keep that in the back of your mind. That will be your first little like hint.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that, you know, it's like Phineas Nigellus is like famously like the least popular headmaster ever, but the school even still thought he was better than Umbridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Because, you know what? Someone has to be the least favorite, you know?
That's true.
Just by definition.
If you were to rank everybody, somebody's at the bottom.
Someone's at the bottom.
Maybe it's just a whole bunch of like 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s, and Phineas is simply a 7, and it's like, well, 7's really not that bad, but it's like, yeah, but he is the lowest one.
But he is the lowest one, yeah. Although I think in Hogwarts Legacy, you do meet him, and he does kind of, he's not, you know, maybe like a 4 or something. You know? Okay.
Well, that's fair enough. I'm not here to fight the good fight for Phineas Nigellus.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but mostly just I don't mind dunking on Umbridge always.
That's forever.
That's right. That's really what we're going for. But yeah, Phineas Nigellus is alluding to this sentiment that he does not care for Sirius as his great-great-grandson, but as soon as he finds out that Sirius is in fact gone, he is going to be singing a very different tune.
Yeah.
And I do think it hits him pretty hard.
Right.
Yeah, but this is also the worst person to speak up right now, given the fact that Phineas Nigellus is specifically talking about the person who Harry cares about, who did just die.
Oh, I know. And he's just calling him worthless. But like Harry also cannot speak back because he's like, obviously Phineas Nigellus doesn't know Sirius is dead, but I can't tell you because if I say it out loud, then it'll really, really be true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you get the voice from the corpulent red-nosed wizard. This is Dexter Fortescue.
That's right.
The predecessor, not predecessor. The ancestor, I guess, to Florian, the ice cream shop owner, who says, "I hope this means that Dumbledore will be back with us soon." And Harry nods, and the person goes, "Oh, good. It's been very dull without him. Very dull indeed."
Yeah, we're bored.
we're bored. Yeah. And then during that moment, Harry also tugs on the doorknob, which I feel like is the knocker. Is it the knocker? In my head, it's the knocker.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be on the other side of the door, probably.
Yeah, but
right?
maybe this is like the adjoining one through the door.
Right, sure, yeah.
Either which way.
Yeah.
You know, this is another situation where Hogwarts' sentience, I feel like, is playing a role. Like, clearly Dumbledore wants Harry to stay there.
Yeah, clearly.
And the office is like, heard.
We won't let him out. It's good.
No problem.
Yep. And then Fortescue continues to talk to Harry. Dumbledore thinks very highly of you, as I'm sure you know. Oh, yes, hold you in great esteem. And it's like, I love that. This is like, there's like a weird unspoken truth where it's like, it is almost always better to get a compliment from somebody like via a third party.
Yes.
You know? Because like if someone's giving you a compliment to your face, like probably they're being genuine, but possibly they're just being polite or just, following social protocol or whatever.
Right.
Where maybe you complimented them and they saw fit to just, slap one back at you. But if they just said something positive about you to someone else when you weren't there, well, my goodness.
I know.
And then that gets back to you. Then that is like, well, there's no reason for that to have been unusual.
Yeah, I know. This sometimes I always feel like this is the case where it's like we should spend more time with mom and dad's friends because I feel like when we do talk to them, they're like, "Oh, they brag about you all the time," and it's like, oh, well, they could tell me.
Who, us?
No, that can't be. But this is also kind of interesting too because this is information that Harry clearly would have loved to have known throughout the course of the entire school year, where Dumbledore has not talked to him at all.
Right.
But then also next year in Half-Blood Prince, McGonagall will express almost the identical sentiment to Harry specifically.
Yeah.
I think that they're having a conversation in this very office. And McGonagall's like, he loved you very much. I hope you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Gets a lot of that. Then there's a really interesting, like, Harry is going through the process of hating being Harry Potter right now. It says he could not stand being Harry anymore. He had never felt more trapped inside his own head and body and never wished so intently that he could be anybody else. And it's just like, it is so terrible that he's feeling this exact way in this exact moment, because it's like he hates the process of being Harry Potter, the target of Voldemort or whatever, the guy who's like always involved because of this stupid thing he had no control over. Like, I just want out. And he's going to scream that at Dumbledore when he gets there too. It's like, I'm done with it. I'm over. And it's like, it is such like, I'm not sure what the word is, like situational irony or something, where it's like, yeah, Harry is like wanting to completely abandon this entire lifestyle and identity almost in the moments before Dumbledore tells him, not only are you Harry Potter, but you're more Harry Potter and the chosen one than you even knew. And not only are you not allowed out, it has barely begun.
Yeah. This, I hate to say it. This was the beginning.
Yeah.
This was like the warm-up act.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even before he gets that, it's interesting the way he describes the guilt associated with everything, because he says the guilt was filling the whole of Harry's chest like some monstrous, weighty parasite, which I think it is referring to the guilt here. However, inside of Harry is a weighty, monstrous parasite.
That's true. That is so true.
In the form of a Horcrux.
Yeah, the Horcrux is in there. That's funny. It's like, I wonder, is that like activating right here, do you think? I don't know. Like the guilt filling his chest was like some monstrous weighty parasite. Unlikely.
When you say activating, just out of curiosity, like, is there anything you would imagine that to be?
I don't know. Just that, like, Voldemort had just possessed him. He was just next to this piece of soul. Like, Harry is feeling especially down. Like when Ron has the locket, it affects all of them. And like, it makes them think their worst thoughts. And it's like, Harry thinks he's guilty of this, and now he's feeling extra guilty of it and stuff.
I see what you mean. That's a good point, where it's almost like people always like to ask the question, like, did Harry make the Dursleys hate him by way of being a Horcrux, which the answer is no. The Dursleys just suck. But like it is interesting to imagine a world, because I my counter to your question was just going to be like, well, he can already speak like parcel tongue.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
you know, like clearly some of the interwoven nature of their souls has already like presented itself.
That's true.
But I also get what you mean. The only caveat that I would have is that Dumbledore is about to explain that like part of what makes Harry so human is how horrible he feels right now.
Yeah.
And so in that way, I would almost say that like what he's feeling is distinctly belongs to Harry himself.
Right.
Versus the Voldemort portion of it. Like Harry's allowed to feel horrible that Sirius died.
The guilt feeling the whole of Harry's chest, like some monstrous weighty parasite, now writhed and squirmed.
Writhed is an interesting word too.
Writhed is an interesting word. Okay, let's reverse it then.
Okay.
Suppose Harry is feeling such tremendous amounts of guilt and love at the moment that the Horcrux inside of him is indeed squirming and writhing because it is so overwhelmingly bad for it.
Oh,
in the exact way that Harry was just recently possessed by Voldemort.
I love that.
Yeah, that's better.
That's way better. Yes, it's like even when Voldemort possesses Harry, it's like he can't stand to exist within Harry because it hurts him so much to be up against so much love.
Right.
This is almost as if all of the love that Harry is feeling is causing so much guilt that it's like it almost makes you wonder if he felt even more. Could it have just killed the Horcrux inside of him by sheer force?
By sheer force.
Like imagine like a vice,
right?
Slowly like squeezing in on it. I sort of love that though. That's a great interpretation.
I do. Yeah, I think that's pretty fun. That's pretty cool. Okay, good catch. So Dumbledore re-arrives. All of the portraits are like, oh my God, yay, entertainment. Hooray, you could have left the TV on, man.
We have been so bored.
Ah, geez, what's happening on Days of Our Lives, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the wizards and witches on the surrounding walls jerked awake, and many of them gave cries of welcome, to which Dumbledore responds very humbly to, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. He did not look at Harry at first, but walked over to the perch beside the door and withdrew from inside the pocket of his robes the tiny, ugly, featherless fox, whom he placed gently in the tray of soft ashes.
You know, I like to think that Dumbledore has some sort of like magical programming that whenever he arrives in the office like this, he has some like, you know, like intro wrestler music that plays.
Oh,
know?
like
yeah, right. And he's like, thank you. All right, music off, please.
That's right. We have business to attend to.
Yeah, this is kind of a serious moment.
Yes,
like I missed the entrances, you guys. There's no doubt. Music, eh? A magic more than anything we do here. Am I right, Harry? Not a time for laughter. Okay, we'll talk later.
You'll come around. We'll have that drink.
You'll come around. We'll pour drinks, right? You'll be there? Cool. Yeah. I'll take you to WrestleMania. What do you say? We'll get beers there, too.
Oh, man, to think that Dumbledore and Harry will never have a drink together.
Yeah, at WrestleMania.
Boy.
Can you imagine?
It's a dream. A true dream come true.
It's fake Muggle wrestling, Harry.
It's glorious. They just do it for the fun of it.
They just do it. It's all about the drama, really. What's going to happen, you know? Oh.
Here's what you got to know. They're actually all friends.
Yeah, backstage, they're like high-five, like, man, you really slammed me on the mat back there. They're not British.
They're not. They certainly aren't.
Yeah, I don't know. Are there professional British wrestlers? Like, is there like a WWE but British?
This WWB.
World Wrestling. No, it's British Wrestling Entertainment. Boy.
Oh, we're inventing all sorts of new things today.
All the people in London are like, yes, we have it.
Yeah.
Or no, we don't. I really don't know.
It could go either way.
The London Fog.
Is that the name of a wrestler?
That's the made up name of the wrestler, yeah.
I like it. The London
Fog takes on the Crumpet Smasher.
You want to know what I would be? I would
Big Ben.
Yeah. Okay, so
we're losing subscribers.
We are. Yeah, sorry about that. All right. Well, Harry, you'll be pleased to hear that none of your fellow students are going to suffer lasting damage from the night's events. Yeah, and this is like one of those moments where I think Harry is. It's interesting because even like the way that I read it kind of reads as if he's like gently scolding Harry here, but. Like it does seem like at least the narrative is attempting to just like say that is not really the case, that like he's not really like, you know, grilling him over this. It's like Dumbledore was looking directly at him, and though his expression was kindly rather than accusatory, Harry could not bear to meet his eyes.
Right. The complete irony that Harry's wanted him to meet his eyes the entire year, and now that he finally will look at him, Harry can't look at him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like you guys are having a hard time like getting this to like,
I know. You just want to sync up here, man. Come on.
Right. Watch the Goofy movie, a little eye to eye.
Dumbledore so loves Powerline.
There is no doubt.
There's no doubt. Maybe that's his intro music when he comes in.
Oh,
to the office.
I like it. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's
a good one. The perfect cast.
Dumbledore's got a good perfect cast.
Oh, you know that Dumbledore goes muggle fishing.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
What are the odds that we are like stepping into like one of those like overlapping Venn diagrams where everybody's like, yes, Goofy movie and Dumbledore. Absolutely. These things go together.
They do go together. You know? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like Harry is Max. And he's just like, oh my gosh, just like, stop. You're embarrassing me all the time. Dumblegoof.
Dumblegoof. Yep.
That was pretty good.
Thanks. All right. Anyway, we get the explanation there. And maybe this is even like for the benefit of the reader a little bit, because you're sort of like, well, hold on. Before we're going to have like a very important conversation, can we at least know that like Ron, Hermione, Ginny, Neville, Luna, like they're okay, right? Like, they're okay. And so sure enough, Madame Pomfrey is patching up everybody now. Nymphadora Tonks may need to spend some time in St. Mungo's, but it seems she will make a full recovery.
Yeah. So it sounds like the reason Dumbledore was not immediately in the office not because he was talking to Fudge or anything, but because he literally went to collect the students and bring them to the hospital wing and check on them all.
Yeah, it's sort of like an interesting one, because Dumbledore tells him at the end of the last chapter that he's going to give him like a half hour of his time. Yeah. And it's not clear whether or not that half hour has happened now, because like after Harry leaves, Dumbledore specifically says, I shall see you in half an hour, which makes it sound like he's about to give Fudge that time in this moment. I don't know.
No, I don't think he gives Fudge that time until like later, like this evening.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's like, you're going to have to wait. You know what? That's your punishment for not believing me for a whole year. You have to wait a whole day now.
That's right. Yeah. But like this, because right now it's morning. So we're like another 12-hour cycle.
Right. Yeah. Do you think Dumbledore is down in the hospital wing like, you'll all be pleased to hear that you're going to be fine, and that Harry sustained no real lasting damage physically? I mean, emotionally.
he is
lightning bolt scarred for life. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going anywhere. I will say though, like I said, Harry, no physical wounds. So the rest of you might want to try a little harder next time. Okay. All right. Ginny, broken ankle.
What a non-magical injury to have.
Right, I can fix that right now. In fact, you know what? You're good. Just get out. You're good.
Ron was hurt by thought.
Ron was hurt by thoughts. Maybe get a little more injured next time. If you're going to like exit the battle. Here's a hint. Next time you're doing Defense Against the Dark Arts secret clubs, learn some healing.
Yeah, nobody's like the designated medic, are they?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We're missing that. We're missing that.
You know why? Because this is why Ron should have gone into healing. You know?
Yeah,
that would have been great. We talked about that before.
We did. Yep, it's a missed opportunity. All right, so this is happening now. He's explaining the full recover, but then it says Harry contented himself with nodding at the carpet, which was growing lighter as the sky outside grew paler. So again, just like a little bit more of like the reference to the sun slowly pouring into the room.
Yep. Let's see. So now Dumbledore's going to say, I know how you're feeling, Harry. And this is not what Harry wants to hear at all. It's just, no, you don't. Suddenly loud and strong. It's like, uh-oh. Now that we've really started, it's going to be bad. Yep.
However, it's like when he says this, he does know how Harry's feeling, but how could Harry ever know that he was in a 3-way duel with his brother, Gellert Grindelwald, and there was a bystander, Ariana, who was killed by a backfiring spell of which nobody knows who cast.
Right. Yes. So when Harry says, "Yeah, I know how you're feeling, Harry," he's like, "Yes, I too have felt responsible for the death of a family member before."
Right. Yes. It's like, pull up a chair. Let me tell you my story before we talk about your thing.
Yeah, but you know what? Harry would have loved that, because when he gets to Deathly Hallows, he's going to be like, "Why didn't he tell me any of this stuff?
That would have been good to know.
It would have been nice to know. A little humanization there, Big D." No, that's Dudley.
That's
Sorry.
Dudley. Yeah, it's a mistake. There we go. Anyway, this is where Phineas Nigelus.
That's his wrestler name, Big D.
Big D. That's Dumbledore's.
No, it's just still Dudley.
Oh, still Dudley. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they could be tag team partners.
Oh, you think so?
Big D's.
Big D. Yeah. The Double D.
Someone just did a spit take. Anyway, this is where Phineas does almost like represent, and it's a horrifically cynical sentiment, and yet also, ouch, thanks for seeing me. Because Phineas says, you see, Dumbledore, never try to understand the students. They hate it. They would much rather be tragically misunderstood, wallow in self-pity, stew in their own.
I know.
And it's like, oh, crap.
Man, it's an oddly astute observation that is true but not helpful.
Exactly. Yeah. Me at 15 reading this book being like,
I'm like, well, shut up.
Mom,
Hey,
I'm done with this book.
Yeah, never mind.
I'm not reading the last 30 pages.
Never mind, I am.
I
I'm curious
definitely
to know
am.
what happened.
Might make a career out of it. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Harry turned his back on Dumbledore and stared determinedly at the opposite window. He could see the Quidditch stadium in the distance. Sirius had seen him play there once, disguised as the shaggy black dog, so he could watch Harry play. He'd probably come to see whether Harry was as good as James had been. And it's like, even that is sort of like such an interesting take, is that like Harry can't give himself anything. It's like as if he thinks Sirius showed up because he wants to see if it like James's kid is as good as James was, not just showed up to see Harry play hard stop at all.
I know, right? Yeah.
You know, it's like he was there to see you, bud.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to see you play.
Come on, man.
Like, you know?
Yes. And then Dumbledore is going to start dropping some hard truths on Harry. Says, there's no shame in what you're feeling, Harry. On the contrary, the fact that you can feel pain like this is your greatest strength, which is, of course, love. Although he's not actually going to say it in this book.
That is kind of interesting. Yeah. Although I also think like it is love, but I think that kind of goes back to what we're talking about with like the monstrous weighty parasite as far as like from the Horcrux's perspective. I also think there's like remorse going on here, which is something that Voldemort physically cannot do. So, you know, maybe those two just kind of go neatly together.
Yeah.
You know, in that particular way.
Yes. Yeah, of course, there's Harry continuing to be tragically misunderstood. It's like, my greatest strength, is it? You haven't got a clue. You don't know. And Dumbledore's just like, what don't I know? He said calmly.
Come on, man. You're supposed to be like gentle here.
He's like, sorry, I fell back into Lucha Dumbledore there. You know, my bad. I'm really, the music really got me hyped up. I just came out of a big fight, you know, not a fake one, you know, a real one. You were there. You saw me. I won. It was great.
Yeah. Wasn't I awesome? Tell me I was awesome.
Tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. Harry's like, I don't want to talk about how I feel, all right? And then Dumbledore's like, Harry, suffering like this proves you're still a man. This pain is part of being human. Then I don't want to be human. Yeah. Harry roared, or said calmly. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
And he sees one of the delicate silver instruments from the spindle leg table right beside him and flung it across the room. It shattered into 100 tiny pieces against the wall. Several of the pictures let out yells of anger and fright. The portrait of Armando Dippet said, really?
Really? I don't care. I've had enough. I've seen enough. I want out. I want it to end. Don't care anymore. And it's like, yeah, no, you definitely do care. And it's not over and you can't get out because there's a prophecy and I should have told you about it, but I'm going to tell you now. So that makes up for it, right? No? Okay. Well.
Yep. And that's what Dumbledore is trying to say. It's just like, you do care. You care so much. You feel as though you will bleed to death with the pain of it. And Harry's like, I don't. And Dumbledore's like, oh, yes, you do.
You'll care if I say you care.
Yeah. You have lost your parents, the closest thing to a parent you've ever known. Of course you care.
Yeah. You don't know how I feel. You standing, you. That hatefully calm old face. Oh, man. He's like, I'm out of here. I don't want to talk to you right now. Let me out. Dumbledore's just like, no.
Yeah.
And which I think it's so funny that he's doing this here because like I have like, you know, 6 and 8 year olds at home. And it's like, I definitely use this with my kids sometimes where they are just like, need to get work through the anger. And I'll just be like holding them really tight and they'll be like, let go. And I'm just like, no, not quite.
It's like,
we're going to sit here and calm down.
Yes. That's the best thing though. So it's sort of like you're not like restraining them in like the thought of restraint. It's like, we're going to calm down for a sec.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's happening next. And then we'll move forward. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Good awareness, man. Way to be a good dad.
Oh, thanks, man. I try.
Yeah. You do a good job.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. So then Harry is sort of like almost like leading to a threat. He's like, if you keep me in here, if you don't let me, and Dumbledore's like, by all means, keep destroying my stuff. Like I have too much.
Yeah.
You know, like
it sounded for a second like you were threatening me there, Harry, which I just vis-a-vis just fought Voldemort. Don't think no offense, but like it's not a fair fight.
Unfortunately, the thing that you have that Voldemort does not, I can also love.
I can do it.
Indeed.
I can do it.
Yes. It is probably protecting you also if you attack me, because I'm not going to hurt you because I love you. But however, you see what's going on here. I could beat you in a fair fight.
Like, only if you want to bring it to wands, I'll do it, you know?
Could you imagine Dumbledore like threatening a duel with Harry right now?
Right now. Harry just starts casting spells and Dumbledore's just like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Listen, Harry, you can try this all day, but I've got like super good reflexes.
I know. I feel like we're making a lot of light of this chapter, but it's almost because I think it's so fun for us to get to be inside of a chapter that is so steeped in lore.
Yeah.
That it's like me and you are like kids in like a candy store, just like bouncing around. It's like they're saying all the things.
I know, they're doing the things. I know. It's so good.
We reference this chapter in like every theory video ever.
All of the time, yes. But Dumbledore's doing a great job here. He's like, by all means, continue destroying my possessions. And behind, and then he winks at the audience and says, it doesn't matter. They'll repair themselves anyway.
Wait. Yeah, not to worry.
I dare say I have too many. It's like, but you're still going to have the same number at the end of this. And Harry wants out. He's like, not until I've had my say. And he's like, I don't care what you want to say. But he's like, nope, you definitely really super duper duper do, because you're not, you know what? You're mad, but you could be angrier. And I could, how would you like that? Would you like me to make you angrier?
Yeah.
Because I could do it.
Because I can do it. It's on the table.
I'll give you 3 good reasons.
Dumbleluchador is pretty great.
Dumbleluchador, yeah.
Lucha Dumbledore.
Yeah.
There's got to be like a really good way to do that.
I think Dumbleluchador is pretty good.
Dumbleluchador?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take that for now. But yeah, so basically like Dumbledore is explaining to him, it's sort of like, as angry as you are now, it's only going to get worse, but you kind of got to know, because we have officially reached the time where there are no more excuses to not tell you.
Right.
Yes. And so right away, Dumbledore is going to take the blame, as you mentioned before, that it was Dumbledore's fault that Sirius had died tonight. And then on some level, he's almost like giving Sirius like his own credit due in this moment, because I should say, it's almost entirely my fault. I will not be so arrogant as to claim responsibility for the whole. Sirius was a brave, clever, and energetic man, and such men are not usually content to sit at home in hiding when they believe others to be in danger. So it's like, really, he's complimenting Sirius's like better notes in this capacity, where it's sort of like, on some level, like Sirius went because Sirius is a heroic person.
Are you saying that Dumbledore saying that Sirius is also to take the blame?
What I think he's doing is I think Dumbledore's accepting blame for all the all the wrong reasons that Sirius died, and giving Sirius credit for all the right reasons why Sirius died.
You don't think he's trying to be like, well, I'm not going to say Bellatrix didn't like shoot him through the veil.
Oh, Bellatrix has some blame.
Right, yeah.
To be had for sure. I just mean in terms of the way that he's describing Sirius as sort of being like brave and energetic and stuff like that. Like Sirius is the kind of person who will go, sprinting into danger to help others.
Yeah.
Real like firefighter energy or whatever, and so it's like, I think what he's trying to say there is like Sirius was brave and heroic, and therefore would do brave and heroic things, and brave and heroic things typically are associated with danger, because otherwise they wouldn't be brave or heroic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yep. But he's like, that said, you should not have believed for an instant there was any necessity for you to go. If I had been open with you, Harry, as I should have been, you would have known for a long time that Voldemort might try and lure you to the Department of Mysteries. You would never have been tricked into going there tonight. To which, pretty big whiff there, Dumbledore.
Yeah. And that's another one where it's like, even the phrasing, it's like, you never should have believed for an instant there was any necessity to go to the Department of Mysteries. It's like, that's the kind of thing where he's not using the accusatory tone. He is using it is my fault that you ever believed in the first place that was something you thought you had to do yourself. And then so he asks Harry, please sit down. It was not an order, it was a request. So you can kind of imagine this with Dumbledore's typical niceties and politeness. And as sort of all of this is as all of this is unfolding, Phineas Nigellus has picked up on the context of the discussion and is like, am I to understand that my great-great-grandson, the last of the Blacks, is dead?
Oh, not so worthless now, is he, Phineas Nigellus?
Yes, and so Dumbledore's like, yes, Phineas. And he's like, I don't believe it. And then right away you see Phineas march out of his portrait and go to visit his other painting at Grimmauld Place. And it says that he would walk perhaps from portrait to portrait, calling for Sirius throughout the house. And that is devastating.
It is. He's probably going to wake up Sirius's mom too.
Yeah, that's probably not going to be a fun conversation either.
Right.
Then there's probably Creature in there doing something.
Doing something.
I unfortunately imagine him like on his back, like cackling on like the like wood hewn table that they eat at and stuff.
Dumbledore is going to describe him as have been fit to burst with laughter when he was telling Dumbledore the story of the evening.
That's right. Let's see here. Harry, I owe you an explanation of an old man's mistakes. For I see now what I have done and not done with regard to you bears all the hallmarks and the failings of age. Youth cannot know how age thinks and feels, but old men are guilty if they forget what it was to be young.
Oh, I think about that line all the time.
This is like, it really is one of those things where it's like when you like realize that all people will in some way, shape, or form exist in different like stages of their own existence. It's like, it's impossible to think what your perspective may feel like or how it could contrast from the times when you are much older. You know, it's like you've witnessed an entire lifetime of world events and that experience is real. And you therefore believe that that helps inform your knowledge of future events. And on some level, it might. But also it's like, it's different from the perspective that we as like 30-something-year-olds now might have from what we might have when we're 70.
Right.
You know, but like we will probably exist in both stages.
Right. Yes, I'm sure we will.
So you have blind spots no matter where you are and you can't really help it.
Yes, I'm sure we will forget what it was to be young.
That's right.
Perhaps.
Yep. Then it says, the sun was rising properly now, the rim of dazzling orange visible over the mountains. This is sort of like the more light, more new day, more brightness and warmth.
Right, yes, more coming on. The light fell upon Dumbledore, upon the silver of his eyebrows and beard, upon the lines gouged deeply into his face. So it's kind of like reminding you that Dumbledore is getting pretty old.
Yeah, and I think it's very humanizing as well. That is almost like what I picture the chapter art to be. Like that is this moment.
This particular image. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Where it's like you can see him like, you know, his eyes look like they're almost just like sagged sideways and stuff. He just looks tired. Then Dumbledore starts to go into some of his guesswork. I guess 15 years ago, said Dumbledore, when I saw the scar upon your forehead, what it might mean. I guessed that it might be the sign of a connection forged between you and Voldemort.
Yeah.
And Harry's like, you've told me this before.
Right.
And Dumbledore's like, yes, but you see, it is necessary to start with your scar, for it became apparent shortly after you rejoined the magical world that I was correct, and your scar was giving you warnings when Voldemort was close to you, or else feeling powerful emotion.
I mean, it happens like right away. He's like, all right, time to go back to the wizarding world. Oh my God, I'm a wizard. That's amazing. Ow.
Ow, ow, ow.
What is this?
I don't like
this?
What's this? What's this? There's magic everywhere. Ow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see here. So Harry's like, I know. And this ability of yours to detect Voldemort's presence even when he is disguised. Oh, okay. This was a note that I had. Because the phrasing of even when he is disguised, it's like Voldemort for the most part. I mean, in year one, he is disguised or hidden within Quirrell. Otherwise, he's not really disguised. He's just hidden. But you and I were having the conversation about whether or not Voldemort was already there prior to like the only one he ever feared conversation.
Right.
And it's almost like, is there a world where like Voldemort was there in disguise?
Do you mean like as one of the Death Eaters?
I don't know as one of the Death Eaters specifically, but I feel like you brought it up, which is what made me think about it. It's almost like when Harry is explaining to Bellatrix that like the prophecy had been destroyed.
Right.
And like the moment that Harry says that he doesn't have it, like he has like splitting pain in his forehead. And
it's like he knows somehow that Harry has said this.
Right. Like the moment that Harry says it, Voldemort appears from the shadows.
Right.
So it's like, that's where I was kind of like, was he disguised?
Because Harry would have known ahead of time?
Because Harry can feel him like the moment that he says it.
Right.
You know, so it's like even through whatever disguise he may be wearing.
Right.
I'm basing this based on how you responded to last week's chapter for what it's worth. That's how I'm getting there.
Yeah. That he's like hiding behind a statue or something upstairs.
Yes, it's like this is how it plays out. I was looking for it as we were talking. Harry has basically just explained the prophecy was destroyed, and Harry's like, "Don't waste your breath. He can't hear you from here." And then Voldemort says, "Can't I, Potter?" said a high, cold voice. And it's like that's the moment where it's like all of a sudden Voldemort's present.
Right.
He showed up right away.
Yeah.
Was he there the whole time, or did he just show up?
Did he just show up? Yeah. It seems like I don't know. It feels like he must have been there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe he was disguised.
Yeah. Yeah. Disguised as what?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like a thing, a wall.
A wall. Yeah. They'll never see me. So good at hide and seek.
It reminds me of The Emperor's New Groove when Kronk's doing like his own theme music.
Oh, what's he doing? His own theme music? I'm so glad I was unconscious for all this.
Exactly. Harry too wishes he was. We're really putting a lot of stock in people having seen the Goofy movie and The Emperor's New Groove in this episode.
The Goofy movie continues to make sense because it's like the perfect cast, but you also cast spells, you know?
It's true.
Right? He's like, Harry, if you want to cast Expelliarmus like extremely far distances, let me show you a little thing I like to call the perfect cast.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and whoosh.
Mm-hmm. Here you go. I like to do a little bit of a dance when I'm doing it. Really loosens up the joints.
All right.
Gets you going there. And woohoo, look at that. Oh my goodness. We could have cast that through. You could have cast Expelliarmus over that mountain if you wanted to.
Easily.
Somewhere in a tree up there, a squirrel just lost its grip. You disarmed that tree.
I love it.
You know how trees are armed with squirrels.
Yeah, right. Maybe it's a wandwood tree. So the squirrel is holding the tree that will be a wand and is Expelliarmus from it.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't move the tree, so the magic just moved the squirrel instead.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Dumbledore says, I became concerned Voldemort might realize that this connection between you exists. Sure enough, there came a time when you entered so far into his mind and thoughts that he sensed your presence. I am speaking, of course, of the night when you witnessed the attack on Mr. Weasley. Yeah, it seems like you should have told him then. That's when I think you should have told him.
If I were to have like flitted through the entire story, to be like, when was the opportune moment? That was it.
That was it right here.
I found it.
I found it right here.
Yeah.
Like maybe you could have tried to keep it a secret from him because it'd be like so terrifying. But like, this is the moment.
This is like one of those things where it's like, if you're the person writing the story and you run into the situation where you're like, okay, we're going to have Harry witness somebody be attacked, but we need to prevent there being like an obvious window of time where that conversation would happen. It's like, how do we do that? It's like, like by attacking Arthur, it means that all the Weasley kids are there, which are like the obvious blockade to not have this otherwise deeply personal conversation with Harry.
Right.
And so it's like, there was no opportunity. We weren't alone.
There was no
obviously.
opportunity. They were at Grimmauld Place for like a week after that, you know.
Right.
What is Dumbledore going to do? Like drop in on his week off of work at the headquarters of his secret organization to talk to the chosen one about this serious matter? I don't think so. There was no opportunity.
None whatsoever.
None.
But until now.
Yes.
Yes. So then I'm speaking, of course, the night when you witnessed the attack on Mr. Weasley. Yeah, Snape told me, Harry muttered, Professor Snape, Harry. And I'm like, wow.
Bro, read the room.
Is this the moment?
Yeah. I don't think so. But did you not wonder why it was not I who explained this to you? Why I had not so much as looked at you for a month or for months? And it's like, yeah, well, I wondered.
Yeah.
I thought about it.
I was like, me too. I wrote that right here on my page.
Yeah, I wondered
that too. Yeah. You see, continued Dumbledore heavily, I believed it could not be long before Voldemort attempted to force his way into your mind, to manipulate and misdirect your thoughts. And I was eager, turn the page,
not to give him any more incentives to do so.
I was sure that if he knew that our relationship was, or had ever been, closer than that of headmaster and pupil, he would seize his chance to use you as a means to spy on me.
He's going to contradict himself in like 2 paragraphs.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so like the way that I read this a little bit is that like it's almost like the Ginny Weasley of it all, because he's going to reinforce with this belief with, Harry, I believe I was right to think that Voldemort would have made use of you in such a way. It's almost like the lengths Dumbledore is going to go to protect Draco from having to commit murder. It's like, and when he's explaining it to Snape, ultimately he's like, saying like, I don't want to know, like, I don't want to damage Draco's soul by doing that. And Snape's like, what about my soul, Dumbledore? Or whatever. Because,
right.
Snape is doing it. And then Dumbledore's like, you're just doing me a favor. You're not committing murder. It's different.
We arranged it.
Right.
The magic knows. Believe me, I've studied these things.
Exactly. Yes.
Harry gets it.
Yeah. I steeple my fingers and think deep thoughts and stuff. Yeah. But I think that this is sort of like, it can feel ridiculous a little bit that it's like, Dumbledore, just tell him. But it's also like he is looking out for the purity of the situation. He doesn't want like blood that Harry doesn't deserve on his hands. I would say is how I read that.
Right. Okay. But so here's what I mean when I say he's going to contradict himself is that it's going to say, I was sure if he realized our relationship was or ever had been closer than that of headmaster and pupil, he would seize his chance to use you as a means to spy on me. Right? But then down here he's going to say, Voldemort's aim in possessing you, as he demonstrated tonight, would not have been my destruction. It would have been yours. So it's like, wait, does he want to spy on Dumbledore or destroy Harry? Which one is it, Dumbledore? You see what I mean? Like, is Dumbledore using this as an excuse? He's like, I didn't want to give him any incentive to possess you or anything because he might attack me. But his aim in possessing you, as he demonstrated tonight, would have been to destroy you, not me.
Well, I'm only pausing because I feel like I'm like trying to like interpret what I think is happening here. Voldemort's aim in possessing you, as he demonstrated tonight, would not have been my destruction. It would have been yours. He hoped when he possessed you briefly a short while ago that I would sacrifice you in the hope of killing him. And it's like, okay, so I guess the idea here is that like on some level, what Dumbledore is suggesting is that if Voldemort possessed Harry and Harry was causing danger to someone else, because that would be the best way to do it. Like, if it's just Harry trying to kill Dumbledore, then it's like Dumbledore can just beat Voldemort. We know that.
Right.
Straight up. So the main thing would be like to have Harry try to kill an innocent as possessed by Voldemort. Mm-hmm. And that is the kind of thing that that Dumbledore can never allow. And so it's almost like if he possessed Harry then and put Dumbledore in a position to like kill Harry, it would kill Harry,
I guess,
like in order to stop Voldemort.
But that's still not spying on Dumbledore.
It is still not spying. Yeah, it would have been yours.
I mean, it's not like a huge problem or anything. It just feels like Dumbledore's excuse for like not being in the same room as Harry is like, he would have spied on me.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true. But what Dumbledore also seems to be saying is like, it would not have been my destruction.
Right.
Do you think there's any like allusion there to, probably not. I was going to say like basically a mild suggestion with the Horcrux.
No. Well, here's the thing. So if Voldemort's plan, if Dumbledore's right about his second thing, and he says Voldemort aimed possessing you, he hoped when he possessed you briefly a short while ago that I would sacrifice you in the hope of killing him. So Dumbledore thinks Voldemort's plan was possess Harry, and Dumbledore will kill Harry and just say, make a clean run of it, get rid of them both, and then Voldemort's gone.
Right.
But Voldemort, of course, knows that wouldn't work because, like, even if you do that, and let's say you kill the body I'm possessing right now, it doesn't matter. My Horcruxes are still in play. Harry will be dead, and I'll still live on. I'll just have to come back again.
Okay.
Right? You think that's what Dumbledore thinks Voldemort's plan is?
Yes. Okay, yes. Because he thinks Dumbledore doesn't know about his Horcruxes. So basically he's like, I'll possess Harry, you kill Harry for me, and I still have Horcruxes that you don't know about. So you'll think you'll have defeated me, but you won't have, and I'll just come back.
I'll just come back again.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. And I even wrote a note here, and I was trying to be like, what did I mean by the note that I wrote that he thinks Dumbledore doesn't know about his Horcruxes? And it's like, that's exactly it.
That's it.
Yeah. So in a way, it's like what he does is actually a pretty clever idea, like to try to use Harry as a way to get Dumbledore to have the opportunity to kill Voldemort, because it won't work in actually killing Voldemort. It just also doesn't work because Dumbledore sees through it.
Right. And of course he would never kill Harry.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But that's where it's like Voldemort thinks so differently than Dumbledore that he's like, oh, well, surely you'll sacrifice this boy to get rid of me.
To get rid of me, of
and
course.
And it's like, he's like, nope, I won't do that.
Not going to do that.
Yeah.
Not going to do that. What's interesting is that Dumbledore doesn't think that Voldemort possessing Harry is going to hurt Voldemort, you know, like the way that it ends up doing.
Yeah, and that's an interesting one as well. And it's surprising to me that when Voldemort ultimately does possess Harry, that it hurts him so radically compared to what was happening when he was planting the belief that Sirius was being attacked.
Yeah.
Because he's like, in that case, he's almost like doing like reverse occlumency.
Right. He's like planting images in his head
Versus
like full on possessing him with his body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is really like the distinction that almost has to be made here. However, going forward, even though that connection has been like made, at least in the way that like Voldemort can plant memories in Harry's mind, it's almost like it must be so different from Control that you can't eavesdrop via that method, because Dumbledore is going to be pretty well unsure that they're safe to have private conversations now without revealing anything to Voldemort. And that will ultimately be true.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, that is true. Well, because Voldemort's going to start, or he begins employing occlumency against Harry, I guess.
So that Harry can't see into his own mind. So that Harry
can't see into his own mind. But I guess he like lets his guard down on that whenever he's like extremely happy or extremely mad.
Right. Which makes sense, because if you're feeling euphoria or anger or something at the height, it's probably hard to maintain all those other pieces.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's see. So Dumbledore's plan is to arrange occlumency lessons with Professor Snape. So that, which I also think like no one else in the Order do this at all, you know?
I know.
Like it had to be Snape.
Well, that's the thing too about like next year is that you're going to have like Order members like patrolling the halls and like Tonks is around all the time. And it's like, why not just do that? I mean, maybe it's the umbrage of it all.
It could be the umbrage of it all.
Yeah, I was going to say, why not just do that this year? But that is the reason. I'm almost certain.
But to that end, why not just hire one of them to be the DA Day professor, you know?
Well, also that.
Yeah.
Also that. Yeah, there's a lot of things that always are like going in the wrong direction for anything to work the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, it does seem like it. It
Right.
does seem like it. Also, anyway, I think we've talked about this before, but like, I don't think the occluments, like the connection to me between Harry and Dumbledore, or not Harry and Voldemort, is like, I don't feel like occlumency really would have even worked. Like, I feel like they're connected in ways that regular magic wouldn't like prevent this kind of communication.
I know what you mean, because it's like what you're dealing with is a forged bond by like high levels of magic. It's like you've got the like Lily's sacrifice in Voldemort's veins paired with the Horcrux of Voldemort living in Harry's veins. And so it's like they both have like, you know, if you can imagine like the two cans of soup on either end of a string, like they both have that to each other.
Right.
You know, and it's like, that's not reading like the thoughts. It's like literally having like a hardwired line.
Right, exactly.
Between the two.
Yeah.
It's not Wi-Fi, it's Ethernet.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it. It's like, I think it's just different innately from it. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like, because I think in Deathly Hallows though, it says like Harry finally mastered occlumency against him. It's like, I even feel like Harry's occlumency, or what, I feel like even that's the wrong description. Like it's going to say the words occlumency, but it's like, I don't think Harry is practicing regular occlumency. I think he has just mastered the connection between him and Voldemort.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's not really occlumency. It's just that he has now mastered how to like deal with this exact connection.
Right. Well, and I mean, maybe that's a piece of like getting to like, you know, almost like speaking more in exterior terms here. It's like getting to know yourself well enough to know which parts of you aren't like truly you or in accordance with like your own values. Mm-hmm. And so it's like once he's old enough to identify those things and like where he stands, it's like, no, not this piece.
Not this one.
This piece does not belong.
Gone.
Yeah. It's the little black dot.
Yeah.
That's the yin and yang dot. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, so then we do get some information about how occlumency lessons were going between Snape and Harry, where Dumbledore is going to explain that Professor Snape discovered that you had been dreaming about the door to the Department of Mysteries for months. Voldemort, of course, had been obsessed with the possibility of hearing the prophecy ever since he had regained his body, and he had dwelled on the door. So did you, though you did not know what it meant. This is like another one of those things where it's like, everyone was reporting back to Dumbledore way more than Harry ever could have realized.
Oh, I know.
The occlumency lessons, for all intents and purposes, are going horribly.
Yeah.
And like when Snape sees the door in Harry's mind, he like grills him about it.
Right.
You know, and it's sort of like, it doesn't seem like you lead the conversation with like Snape being like, oh, Oh, like, because it's like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, you know that Harry is not just like being some self-important, self-righteous James reincarnate.
Right.
It's like, he's seeing what Voldemort's obsessed with. You know what he's obsessed with.
Right.
You're helping guard it.
Like you know what's up.
Right. It's like it's almost irritating because like your poker face towards not letting Harry see anything is almost just like misleading to us, the reader, more than it is ever realistic at all.
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure true. I also like how Dumbledore is like, I couldn't let Voldemort possess you because he might spy on me. But Harry, look, if I were going to say like assign one of my teachers to break into your mind and then report it back, like that's the sort of spying that like I'm kind of okay with.
It's good stuff.
Right. That's okay.
I'm having my double agent do it for me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Trustworthy.
Cool.
Yeah.
You think Snape was having to report like things to Voldemort and is like, yes, I've broken into Potter's mind. Don't worry, my lord. He is indeed dwelling upon the door.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like that's what it would be.
Probably would. Yeah.
Yeah.
The plan is working.
Right. Yeah, but the way he describes it is if he did it like maliciously, and it's like in lessons sanctioned by Dumbledore.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Dumbledore is so dumb. I'm making Potter's mind weaker all of the time.
Right. He hates it.
He hates it. And he's like, oh, good job, Snape. Fantastic. You get a raise.
You think he pays them?
No.
Me neither. Why are they doing it?
For power.
I guess, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Voldemort, basically what he learns from Rookwood, who was released from Azkaban earlier on in the year, and his attempts to use other people to lift the prophecy, which is Broderick Bode, the guy who's killed by the plant at St. Mungo's that we saw over Christmas, basically is informing Voldemort that he would have to enter the Ministry of Magic and risk revealing himself at last, or else Harry would have to go and take it for him.
And risk revealing himself at last, which he does anyway.
So it's just like one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, hindsight's 2020. I get it. It's like, he doesn't know that he's going to be revealed at the start of the day until the end of the day or whatever. But it's
hindsight is 2020, but I feel like Voldemort doesn't wear glasses. So like, also regular vision is 2020.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's so stupid too, because it's like he shows up because the prophecy is destroyed. So it's like you wouldn't go when the potential to get the prophecy was on the table. And then when the prophecy is fully off the table, you do go.
You go.
And it's like, oh, dude. Like, I don't know.
Like, and you get caught. You get seen.
Right. And like, all your Death Eaters get scooped up.
Right. So you get seen and a prophecy. At least when the prophecy was there.
You get the prophecy.
You could get the prophecy.
Right.
Like, I don't think we're in any doubt that like you weren't going to get caught by the Ministry. Right? Like maybe they'd see you, but I think if you go and get it, you're going to get it.
Exactly.
Like you'll escape. They might know you're back, but you'll get it. This way, the way you did it, you got nothing. It was a lose-lose.
It was a lose-lose. You gambled too hard.
You gambled too hard, man. You went all in. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. And so it became an even greater if I could speak, it became a matter of even greater urgency that you should master occlumency. And then Harry's like, but I didn't practice. I didn't bother. I could have stopped myself having those dreams. Hermione kept telling me to do it. If I had, he'd never been able to show me where to go. And Sirius wouldn't. And something was erupting inside of Harry's head. A need to justify himself, to explain. I tried. I tried to check. He'd really been taken. Sirius, I went to Umbridge's office. I spoke to Creature in the Fire. He said that Sirius wasn't there. He said he'd gone. And then Dumbledore was like, Creature lied. Yeah, you are not his master. Although what's
in this moment,
yeah, the ironic thing is that right now Harry is his master. Yeah, yeah, because Sirius is dead, and Sirius basically bestowed all of his possessions, including Creature, to Harry, and Sirius is gone. So that magical will has already been enacted, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, same.
But either way, Creature intended you to go to the Ministry of Magic, and Harry's like, wait, he sent me on purpose?
Say what?
I like the fact that there's like an honest kindness maybe hiding behind that, like that Harry doesn't doubt house elves. You know, like it's almost like he is like a little bit blindsided. Like it did not occur to him that Creature would lie.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. I think,
he just innately believes him. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
That's not the worst position to have, even if the outcome is what the outcome is.
Yeah. So yeah, which is pretty much how the rest of, like that's so often the case for Harry. It's just like having good faith in people and friends and trust and stuff like pays off all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
But he's like, but he hasn't been at a Grimmauld place for years. And Dumbledore's like, oh, well, it was before Christmas when Sirius shouted at him to get out. And Harry clocked that immediately when it was happening.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I have it on page 504 is the moment that it happened. Let's see if we can go back to exactly that for just one hot second. Harry's like, he couldn't have left, could he? Said Harry. I mean, when you said out, maybe he thought you meant get out of the house. No, house elves can't leave unless they're given clothes. They're tied to the family's house. And then Harry's even going to respond with like, they can leave the house if they really want to. Dobby did. Yeah. And Sirius is like, it's fine.
It's like, all you gotta do is like call him, apparently. And he'll just have to come back. So why don't you just try it?
And we could try that. We could try that. Yeah.
Right. Why don't you just do that, Because next year I'm going to be like, Creature, and he's not going to want to show up, but he will anyway.
But he will. Yeah. Precisely.
Anyway.
But where Creature went when he set out was to the only other member of the Black family to whom he had any respect left, Black's cousin Narcissa, sister of Bellatrix and wife of Lucius Malfoy.
Oh, what are the odds?
What are the odds? Yeah. And Harry's like, how do you know all of this? And Dumbledore's like, Creature told me last night. You see, when you gave Professor Snape that cryptic warning, he realized that you had had a vision of Sirius trapped in the bowels of the Department of Mysteries, which is totally like in Toy Story 2 when like the little critters go and are like squeaking.
Yeah.
And they're like,
what's that?
Yeah.
Jesse and the old prospector are trapped in the old mine and they're about to be blown up by a stick of dynamite.
Yeah, like the entire scene.
Right.
And then the squirrel's like, ride like the wind, bullseye.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. I should explain the members of the Order of Phoenix have more reliable methods of communicating than the fire in Dolores Umbridge's office. It's like, oh, wow, maybe we could have, we were there like all summer. Maybe you could have given us some of those methods or something,
Yeah, this is where it kind of hails back to that like working theory that it's the chocolate frog cards. And that's like the thing that I think it's Bill says earlier on in the book where he's like, he doesn't mind that he's been stripped of all of his titles. He just doesn't want to be taken off the chocolate frog card. And it's very like Dumbledore to have an affinity for candy related things, but also it's like exactly like the galleons that Hermione's been using. It's like the dark mark. It's just this like very innocuous, fly under the radar, like Voldemort would never think of it, house elves and children's tales. Like it all fits together so perfectly.
It does. I know. It's like of course he's not going to understand candy, Voldemort doesn't understand sweets. Come on.
Also, I like the fact that he says the fire in Dolores Umbridge's office, Professor Snape. And so it's like he immediately goes back to the formal classification for Snape, but he refers to Umbridge just simply by her name.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, he's like, she is not a professor here anymore.
She is not here, and I will not be addressing her as such.
That's right.
Nope. It says, when, however, you do not return from your trip into the forest with Dolores Umbridge, Professor Snape, there it is again, grew word that you still believe Sirius to be captive of Lord Voldemort's. He alerted certain Order members at once. And this is so annoying. So, Anasta Moody, Nymphadora Tonks, Kingsley Shacklebourne, Remus Lupin were at headquarters when he made contact. All agreed to go to your aid. And Sirius, obviously.
Yeah.
Didn't mention that. But, like, what's annoying about that is that Harry was just there trying to check on Sirius, and he goes in, Creature's like, nope, not here, not coming back from the ministry. And then Harry's like, he gets dragged back away. And then apparently 3 minutes later, these people show up and it's like, man, such bad timing.
It is such bad timing. Like in my mindset, they kick in the door and they've all got like bags from like McDonald's or something like that. They're like, man, what a line.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, scoot over, Kingsley. Pass me the barbecue sauce.
Right. They went to McDonald's.
Where else would they go, Jay? Where else would they go?
Where else would they go?
Yeah.
They probably go to Muggle restaurants sometimes.
Certainly.
Yeah.
They're open-minded folk.
Yeah. Hagrid buys Harry a hamburger.
Yeah,
on their first day together, probably from McDonald's.
They're sitting in a plastic chair.
Sitting in plastic chairs, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. He delegated to Creature the task of telling me what had happened, and so it was that when I arrived at Grimmauld Place, shortly after they had all left for the ministry, it was the elf who told me, laughing fit to burst, what Sirius had gone. So Dumbledore is just like, man, it's too bad he wasn't there right when they got there,
Oh, I know. I mean, there are so many things that went so poorly on this particular evening.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even at this particular moment, it's like Sirius is even there tending to Buckbeak, probably hollering down the stairs, "Did you guys get my McDouble or not?"
Right, yeah.
No sliced onions, just how I like it.
Right.
What? Harry's in trouble. He thinks I'm injured. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Time to go to the Department of Mysteries. Yep. Oh, my goodness, so bad. It says, he was bound by the enchantments of his kind, which would say he could not disobey a direct order from his master, Sirius. So this is when Dumbledore saying that he didn't want to give him the information, but he had to because Sirius told him to.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. So it's basically just like as he's running out the door, he's like, Creature, tell Dumbledore what happened. And then Creature has to obey.
Right.
Yep. Let's see here. Y'all, we take a brief pause right there to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, KiwiCo. Between multiple businesses and our own personal deliveries, our house has a package on the doorstep nearly every day. And my daughter Addison loves it. And her bar isn't terribly high. Like yesterday, we got duct tape. But when our KiwiCo package arrived at the door, it was a different kind of special as we cracked it open. It wasn't just that this package was in fact for her. It was the speed at which she took the reins of the project entirely on her own. This kit featured a kinetic sand dino dig, which yielded bones that could then be set into this like really neat wooden puzzle. And with summer right on the horizon, I'm really excited for their Summer Adventure Series boxes. We've been spending tons of time in the garden, so their Draw and Grow planter I already know is going to be a huge hit. There are 6 of these boxes in total, and they're all designed around getting your kiddos outside. And a cool offering that I like is that you can either opt to receive all 6 kits at once or weekly for 6 weeks. And I have a staycation plan for midsummer, so my plan is to snag all 6 for the week and have a baked-in activity for each day. So build the best summer ever with KiwiCo. Get $10 off on your Summer Adventure Series at kiwico.com/summer, promo code Griffin. That's $10 off your summer adventure at kiwico.com/summer, promo code Griffin. Link in the description or the show notes down below.
Does Dumbledore say something like that he like about how he got the information from Creature? I feel like he did.
Yes. Let's see here.
After questioning or something.
Oh, yeah. So it's going to say, he's basically going to go through, explain everything. And Harry's going to be like, and Creature told you all this and laughed. He croaked. And Dumbledore's going to say, this is at the bottom of the page, not the next one. He did not wish to tell me, said Dumbledore, but I am a sufficiently accomplished legilimens myself to know when I'm being lied to. And I persuaded him to tell me the full story before I left for the Department of Mysteries.
What does that mean?
What? Okay, Dumbledore. Yeah, let's back up again. What does that mean?
What does that mean? I persuaded him, a little Cruciatus action or something.
Yeah, we thinking Crucio, Imperius, like Veritaserum.
Veritaserum. I persuaded him to tell me.
Right. Yes,
I have my methods, you know.
Yeah, but also just think about this too, because like the Order and Harry and company and everyone else has their backs against the wall before Dumbledore shows up, and so you've got to think that like every moment that Dumbledore's there at number 12 persuading Creature, who will be there tomorrow to get more information out of him, is minutes that like the likes of Tonks is falling off of the, you know, the high staircases.
Right.
Mad Eye is seeping blood from his mouth and his eye is squirming all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like Neville is doing a Talentalegra dance. Like Harry is the prophecy smashing. Like
right.
There's all this stuff that's happening whilst Dumbledore's not there.
Right. It seems like he needed to get Creature could tell him like one sentence and it'd be like, "Oh, I was forced to tell the Potter boy that Sirius Black was being tortured at the Department of Mysteries." And Dumbledore should be like, "Hold that thought, I'll be back."
You stay here.
Right.
Do not eat the hamburgers. They will be hungry.
Right. Yes. They didn't get to eat yet. They're probably fighting on an empty stomach. This is probably not helping. They're probably losing. I mean, my goodness.
I'm sure they are. Wait till I get there.
Wait till you know what? I better go.
Hold on. Is the fog machine here? I really like to make a good entrance.
Like a good entrance. Cue up the eye to eye. Get some power line pumping.
The perfect cast.
That's right. It's almost when it's describing when he gets that first guy, it's just like whoop, like he's got like an invisible lasso or something.
This is working too well.
Catches it with the little fishing hook. He's just like zing. Gotcha.
That's right. That's right. Oh, too good. Too good.
Too good.
Now Harry's upset with Creature. And he's like, Hermione kept telling us to be nice to him. And Dumbledore's like, she was quite right, Harry. I warned Sirius when we adopted number 12 as our headquarters that Creature must be treated with kindness and respect.
Yeah, seems like a fair trade.
It absolutely does feel like a fair trade. It's like, hey, can you two just like set aside your differences? Like, we're all working on something here. This could be a huge liability if not handled properly. Got it?
Right.
Got it. And they don't got it. But anyway,
They don't got it.
They don't got it. So Harry's going to take that very much as Dumbledore accusing Sirius of causing his own death. And he's
Right.
like, don't you talk about Sirius like, Creature's a lying foul. He deserved. And Dumbledore obviously has the right take on it. He's just less emotional. Creature is what he has been made by wizards, Harry. Yes, he is to be pitied. His existence has been miserable, or as miserable as your friend Dobby's. He was forced to do Sirius's bidding because Sirius was the last of the family to which he was enslaved. But he felt no true loyalty to him. And whenever Creature's faults, it must be admitted that Sirius did nothing to make Creature's lot easier.
On the next page, he is like, Harry is going to be like talking about Snape and trying to throw him under the bus for like, he's like, Snape goaded Sirius about staying in the house. He made out Sirius was a coward. And Dumbledore's going to be like, Sirius was much too old and clever to have allowed such feeble taunts to hurt him. And like, whilst I love that he acknowledges like Sirius's like true maturity in this moment, it's like, why doesn't that same logic apply to how he treated Creature?
That's exactly, you're totally right, where it's sort of like Sirius was much too like, like old and clever to have been rude to a house elf simply because of their differences as like younger people.
Right. Why can't you say that?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and maybe this is just like a river runs deep. I don't know. Sirius has so much trauma attached to his childhood in a way that he doesn't have to Snape. Where it's like,
maybe it's more like Snape has the trauma attached to Sirius, I guess.
Precisely. That's like,
right.
it's like Snape, you can't really hurt me. Like, I'm not envious of who you are. You haven't had a better life.
Right.
Like, I am me and you are you. That's that.
Do you think when Lupin is telling Sirius in the Shrieking Shack, he's like, Snape? Yeah, because he's like, oh yes, he's here, Sirius.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a teacher. Do you think he's like, huh? Who? Who'd you say? That kid? I don't even. What?
From the tree?
From the tree? That I don't know. He was like in our year, right? I don't. Whatever. That was a long time ago.
I was in Azkaban for a long. James didn't like him.
I feel like you didn't like him. Something like that. I don't know. Whatever. What he's like. Oh no. I know. I that's what I thought too. I was like, yeah, that was fun in school. Remember when we used to like hang out? And he hates us. He remembered, like, I barely remembered him. I was like, oh yeah, Severus, remember class of whatever. What are they, 78?
77?
Class of 77. And he just like, I thought he was going to kill me right then. I was like, what happened, man? We just had a couple of laughs out by the beech tree,
He hates us.
He hates us, man.
I love the delivery on that.
Yeah.
That was really good. He doesn't. Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Oh man. But yeah, so then Harry is sort of like, as far as like the blame game is concerned, Harry is trying really hard to find anywhere that he can, like, I guess, offload some of his own sense of guilt and sort of use it as like malicious attacks on someone else to like feel a savage pleasure or something. And so he's like, Snape, stop giving me occlumency lessons. He threw me out of his office. And Dumbledore's like, I am aware of it. I have already said it was a mistake for me not to teach you myself. And that's like a really mature position from Dumbledore, who's just basically like, yeah, that was my fault. I should have picked someone else. I didn't.
Yep.
That's it. I'm not here to slander Snape, though.
Right.
And it's like, it's interesting that he has, like, that really is peak maturity, I feel like. Like, it's like anybody else would like so desperately want to be like, yeah, I was upset with him about that. And he doesn't really like allude to his frustration with Snape at all.
Yeah. Nope, not at all. He's just like, yeah, we should have done it differently. And Harry's like not done. He's like, oh, he made it worse. How do you know I wasn't trying to soften me up for Voldemort? And he's like, I trust him. You know, and it's like, but what? But it's like Harry, you want Harry to ask why here, but he won't.
Right.
Yeah, but I forgot. Another old man's mistake. You're leaning on that excuse a lot here.
Yeah. Well, you're a pretty smart guy, okay?
Yeah, got a lot of these today.
Right, right. Yep.
Yeah. That some wounds run too deep for the healing. I thought Professor Snape could overcome his feelings about your father, but he's not as clever and mature as your godfather.
Harry.
Yeah.
You're not drinking your Ogden's Old Fire whiskey, I notice.
I feel like this conversation would be easier if you were a little less sober. Come on.
But that's okay, is it? It's okay for Snape to hate my dad, but it's not okay for Sirius to hate Creature.
Oh, man, he set it for us.
He did. It's true. Sirius did not hate Creature, said Dumbledore. And this is complicated. Well, not complicated. It's not the way that Sirius views Creature. He regarded him as a servant unworthy of much interest or notice. Indifference and neglect often do much more damage than outright dislike, to which Harry suffered both of at the hands of the Dursleys.
That is super true.
I would argue.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he points out, we wizards have mistreated and abused our fellows for far too long. Sort of a allusion to the lie that is the fountain of magical brethren. And we are now reaping our reward.
Yeah.
But this is what I like, is that Sirius points out, like, Sirius was not a cruel man. He was kind to house elves in general. He had no love for Creature because Creature was a living reminder of the home Sirius hated.
Right.
So that's like the complicated layers of, hierarchy and a million other things at the same time. But it is good to know that, like, Sirius didn't have like a bias by being born into this pureblood family towards house elves. Just, he doesn't like Creature.
Right.
Right.
Because he doesn't like his family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's really not Creature's fault that Creature is the way that he is. And Sirius doesn't really hate Creature for who he is. He hates Creature for who he became because of his family.
Exactly. Yeah. And for what it makes him feel like when he has to be back in the house he doesn't want to be in.
Yes.
Of course he's saying, then Harry's got to turn on. It's like, well, you kept him all locked up. It's like, Dumbledore's like, I know, he's like, I was trying to keep Sirius alive. He's like really like running out of excuses here. Like, Harry's hitting him from every single angle. And Harry's like, well, people don't like being locked up. You did it to me last summer. It's like, boom, got him there.
Yeah. And that's the moment where Dumbledore folds too. Like, he literally buries his hands in his face, or his face in his hands. And Harry has this also kind of relatable situation, I guess. It's like the uncharacteristic sign of exhaustion or sadness or whatever it was from Dumbledore did not soften him. On the contrary, he felt even angrier that Dumbledore was showing signs of weakness. He had no business being weak when Harry wanted to rage and storm at him.
Right. He's like so mad at Dumbledore, but like simultaneously needs him to be like his emotional support animal.
Exactly. It's like, I need you to be emotionally strong enough for me to be this mad at you, because if you're not, then I can't be this mad at you, and I'm not here to console you either.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And Dumbledore's just like, look, we're just going to argue semantics about the situation forever. We got to move on. There's something just so much worse, okay?
Yeah, we haven't
even gotten to that part.
The hard part hasn't even started yet.
Right.
You're mad at Snape. Sirius is dead. Creature was kind of a jerk.
Right.
These are the small potatoes.
These are the small potatoes of the evening and time. And he's like, it is time for me to tell you what I should have told you 5 years ago, Harry. Please sit down. I'm going to tell you everything. Almost.
It doesn't say almost. It should.
It should, yeah. I'm going to tell you like 90%.
You have to die. What?
Huh? What was that last part?
Someone's throwing stuff.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, no, me neither. Yeah. That is not going to come up in this conversation.
You're a Horcrux, Harry. What? Huh? What's that? What are Horcruxes?
Fox, I'm trying to have a conversation over here.
I only ask a little patience. You will have your chance to rage at me, to do whatever you like when I've finished. I will not stop you. Oh, so this is another one. He talks about when when Harry re-arrives, and he says, well, not quite whole. You had suffered. I knew you would when I left you on the aunt and uncle's doorstep. I knew I was condemning you to 10 dark and difficult years. And it's like, did you know that much about the Dursleys? Like, like all you heard from McGonagall was like, they're the worst kind of muggles. And it's like, was that enough to know that the next 10 years would be dark and not that they might have an ounce of love in them or something?
I don't know, because I don't think he knows that McGonagall's going to be there. So I suspect that Dumbledore, he wrote to Petunia once upon a time.
Right.
He was invested in Lily just simply as a student. I suspect he knows that the Dursleys are going to suck.
Okay. All right. That's true. I forgot about the letter to Petunia.
Yeah. So I think mostly he is sort of like, this is an unfortunate situation. If only the people didn't suck. But they do.
But they do.
Yeah.
Good news is I'll be here by myself without anybody. Hello, Professor McGonagall. Oh, yeah.
Crap, you know too. Now, you know that I knew what you know, and it's going to be hard to deny it later. I could have pled ignorance, but you've already informed. And you're so reliable.
So
This
reliable.
is very
Speaking of
unfortunate.
reliable, where is Haggard? He is late.
I trusted him with my life. Not to arrive on time, but with my life.
With my life. Oh, good. He's got Sirius Black's motorbike. I would trust him with my life, too.
Yeah, right?
So, yeah, why could not some wizarding family have taken you in? Which we explored deeply in our hit series, What If Ron Was in Hufflepuff?
Yes, indeed. This was the question that we needed to ask once upon a time in order to figure out how to answer the question. And basically, we finally came to the conclusion that the only way that Ron would end up in Hufflepuff is if the Weasleys were, in fact, the one to take in Harry, which is not altogether that unlikely of a scenario, given the fact the Weasleys are incredibly good people. And they would have a son similar in age. But the idea is basically then, like instead of Ron trying to live up to the expectations of his existing family, he chooses a different path because Harry would be sorted into Gryffindor first.
Right, and so he would get to the stool and be like, not Gryffindor.
Yes.
Not Gryffindor.
Yes. If that's enough, better be Hufflepuff.
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 It'd be so funny if that was like that. Like Slytherin, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff.
Ravenclaw.
Right.
You're right. That would be good. The Hufflepuffs out there are shaking their fists in the air at us while they're like washing dishes. They're like, you guys suck.
My answers and my priority was to keep you alive. You're in more danger than perhaps anyone but myself realized. And by perhaps, he just means then literally anyone but himself realized because he's the only one who knows the prophecy.
Yep.
Yep.
Voldemort had been vanquished hours before, but his supporters, and many of them are as terrible as he, were still at large, angry, and desperate and violent. And I mean, this is fair because it's not until the aftermath of Voldemort's fall that the Longbottoms are tortured into insanity.
Yep, exactly.
So that is like one of those things where storing Harry somewhere safe as soon as possible probably did save his life.
Right.
Just as far as that portion of this decision is concerned. Did I believe that Voldemort was gone forever? No. I knew not whether it would be 10, 20, or 50 years before he returned, but I was sure he would do so. And that's even an interesting one as well, because it's like the amount of time that it takes is kind of short in the scheme of things.
Right,
but like,
it is.
It was also entirely possible, like in terms of not telling Harry things sooner, that like Harry would have been 50 and a fully trained good wizard before any of this became a problem.
Right. I suppose there's that.
Yeah.
Like, although you could also argue that it was always more likely to be sooner rather than later because his followers would be at their greatest height in the time after he fell.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, because you also start to run into the issue that people, you know, if it takes 50 plus years or whatever, that like then your followers are probably quite aged.
Right.
You know, so it's like he presses the dark mark, you know, and it's the year 2040 or whatever.
Right.
And it's like 3 of them show up with canes. You know,
Right.
they're like, here should be Lucius Malfoy, died of...
Right. This graveyard's looking pretty full these days.
Where is everyone?
Where is everyone? Didn't they guard themselves against mortal death like I did? Come on. Oh, wait, no, I didn't tell him I was doing that. Okay, sorry.
I should really explain my plans better.
My plans. I suppose if he got to the point, though, at that point, he could just be like, I'm just going to, like, wait it all out, wait for a whole fresh new wizarding world, you know?
That's true.
They don't even know. You know, I'll just sort of rise up and it'll be easy to convince someone later down the line. I'll just be like, my charming... smoky self.
Smoky self.
Be like, hey kid, you want some power? I was once the greatest sorcerer in the world. Can I live on the back of your head? What? No.
Color me uninterested, bruh.
Like, I thought you might say that. Too bad.
Hey, Rumi.
Hey, Ruby. Gross.
Sorry.
Color me uninterested. I got a turban guy.
Oh.
Did I believe that Voldemort was gone forever? No. And I knew not whether... Yeah, so... And he says, I also knew Voldemort's knowledge of magic is perhaps more extensive than any wizard alive, which he includes himself in that, which is he's being very modest here.
He absolutely is. Yes. He said that I knew that even my most complex and powerful protective spells and charms were unlikely to be invincible if he ever returned to full power. Which is true at the Battle of Hogwarts. Like, it's like you have the entire school's worth of like ancient magic enchantments, and they do break through.
They do.
So it is true that eventually he would have been able to if he returned to full power. But I knew too where Voldemort was weak, and so I made my decision. You would be protected by an ancient magic. You would be protected by an ancient magic of which he knows, which he despises, and which he has always, therefore, underestimated to his cost. I am speaking, of course, of the fact that your mother died to save you. She gave you a lingering protection he never expected, a protection that flows in your veins to this day. I put my trust, therefore, in your mother's blood.
Right.
I delivered you to her sister.
See, and if you're being really, really perceptive here, you could note that Harry's mother's blood is in Voldemort now as well.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that would certainly be like a major tell, a major important deed.
Yes.
And, you know, of course, what he's describing as well is love, I think, without saying it.
Yeah, he's not quite saying it, but what he's obviously describing is love.
Yes.
Of course, Harry's like, she doesn't love me, so Harry names it, I suppose. She doesn't give a damn. But it's like, well, not entirely, I dare say, because he has just described the relationship between Sirius and Kreacher and how Kreacher does not want to do, like, he obeyed him because he had to, not because he had any loyalty to them.
Okay.
And the difference here, but like, and this is very similar. It's like Petunia, you might say like, oh, she, you know, like Harry, she accepts Harry in there, like, not because she likes him, but like but almost only out of loyalty. You know, it's like,
I see what you mean.
Right.
I see what you mean. Like there is like, maybe if you scrape away, like loyalty is almost beneath everything else, maybe in this particular case, like maybe not always, but it's like all of everything else is gone. And the only thing that remains is like, okay, I will protect Harry. And I mean, even like when you go to the Dementor attack, Dudley Demented in the beginning of this book, like Vernon is basically witnessing exactly the chief thing. It's like by giving Harry a place to live, Dudley has now been placed in danger. And if you're Vernon, he's sort of like, nah, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
Like, this is too much.
Too much.
Dudley was almost killed over this. Like, I'm not willing to put my son at risk to protect this person I hate, effectively.
Right.
And even with Vernon holding that position, Petunia is still going to be like, nope, the boy has to stay.
Yep, has to stay.
It's like even in the face of like Dudley, who she does love immensely, potentially being at risk of death. It's like, nope, we can't throw him out.
Right. So it's like I feel like the comparison is like from Kreacher, like he has no loyalty to Sirius at all. He's just literally enslaved to him.
Sure.
Right. And it's like Petunia is like, has Harry forced upon him, upon her family in the same way that Kreacher has Sirius forced upon his existence.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Petunia still has more loyalty to Harry than Kreacher had to Sirius.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's interesting to mark it that way because you do have these two people who are basically given reminders of their family they hate.
Right.
You know, because Sirius doesn't like Kreacher because he reminds him of his parents, and Petunia doesn't like Harry because he reminds her of Lily and James.
Right. I mean, Kreacher lives in the little boiler under the sink. Harry lives in the cupboard under the stairs. You know, like Harry's getting like the royal house elf treatment at the Dursleys.
Dang, I've never thought of it that way before. That is a
Right.
very good parallel.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Man. Okay. Yeah, because he's even got like the weird, yeah, you're right, like the little boiler room with like the like rags and stuff. It's
Right.
just like Harry's in like the little cupboard under the stairs full of spiders. And-
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Harry is Kreacher.
Ah! And the Philosopher's Stone.
There we go.
Yeah, he's a weird person.
He's a weird guy.
But then we finally get reference to basically she took you. She may have taken you grudgingly, furiously, unwillingly, bitterly, and yet she still took you. And in doing so, she stilled the charm placed upon you. Your mother's sacrifice made the bond of blood the strongest shield I could give you.
God, the most convoluted spell in the entire series, in which you can only the bond of blood works like this, right? First, you have to survive the killing curse, something that apparently has just never been done before at all anyway. So how they know about the bond of blood is bananas to me.
It's got to be strictly theoretical from like the Albert Einstein of the wizarding world who had a chalkboard full of like formula.
Right. Like if it happened, it seems possible, but it never has. You know, if that happens, then you can take the survivor of the attack and put them in the dwelling of a blood relative of the person who died to save the person, and then put another charm on them that will stop specifically the person who initially tried to kill them from being able to access them.
Correct. Incredibly obscure.
Incredibly niche. You would never play that card in your standard meta TCG deck. That's way too situational is what they would say.
It is way too situational.
It's way too situational.
Remarkably so. And on some level, there must have been like a piece of Dumbledore, I have to imagine, just as somebody who's like studious, that like the day that he got to do it, he'd be like, I've only ever read the theory.
He's like,
it's
hold
like,
on.
is it going to work? It's like, it works.
Oh my God, it works. That's so cool. It's pretty
like,
cool.
This house in suburban Britain is now more protected than Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
That's pretty crazy.
It's pretty only towards one person.
Only towards one person.
And only for one person.
Right.
However, I did it.
While he's there.
Where's the old resume? I'm putting this on it.
Put it on there. That he cannot hurt you. She knows that allowing you house room may well have kept you alive for the past 15 years. Well, I guess so. That's where we get you sent that howler, which this is kind of a funny thing. When you listen to the updated voice cast audiobooks, it's super obvious that it's Hugh Laurie whose voice is in the howler.
Yeah, when Jim Dale does the performance, it's like this remember my last Petunia.
Yes.
And it's like, who is that?
Right.
And it's like the howler. It's like, I mean, that's why I like to think that Dumbledore's pulled out the old voice condenser or whatever.
Right.
You know, and he's like speaking into the howler and he's like, Fox, can you hold it for me? I can't write the letter at the same time. I don't know why I made Dumbledore Australian all of a sudden. Yeah. But you know, it's almost as if like
he's got a lot of personalities in this episode.
He really does. Yeah. He's goofy, he's Australian. I mean, what else? What can he not do?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, he's like, oh yes, I suspected the Dementor attack might have awoken her to the dangers of having you as a surrogate son. And it's like, wow, this is amazing guesswork by you.
Right.
Good job, Dumbledore. You couldn't have guessed any of these other consequences, but these things you were able to guess. Let's see. It says, you arrived alive, perhaps yet alive and healthy. You were not as pampered little prince, but as normal a boy as I could have hoped for under the circumstances. Thus far, my plan was working well. So right there, he admits to it. That's Dumbledore's big plan.
That's right. Yes, indeed. He had basically like a start to finish type of situation where he knows pretty much that Harry has to die and has at least like laid the groundwork for various stages for him to go through. Dumbledore's big plan is just canon in my head.
It's just canon, right?
Also, the little pampered little prince thing is like I wrote like a little note here. It's like, is this who Harry would have been if he had grown up under James and Lily? Because he would have grown up quite well off. James was known for having a little bit of a flair about him, you know? Yeah. I mean, he would have loving parents for sure. Not like in the brand of loving that Vernon and Petunia are towards Dudley, but you know, but it does make you wonder a little bit, like because James is who James is, you know?
Right.
Like it's...
Well, like I imagine that could have been who Harry could have been, like had Voldemort just not existed at all. You know, but like as long as they're like in hiding and working for the Order, I think they're going to be a lot more like humble and stuff.
I agree. I mean, I think that's definitely like a filter that you get forced through that's going to change who you are forever, no matter what. But the real question is just like, assuming Voldemort never attacks at all, and Lily and James just have a son named Harry Potter, and he grows up to be someone. Who does he become?
Yes. So then Dumbledore says, you rose magnificently to the challenge that faced you, and sooner, much sooner than I had anticipated, you found yourself face to back of the face with Voldemort.
Nice. Now that you survived again, you did more. You delayed his return to full power and strength. You fought a man's fight. I was prouder of you than I can say. To which I was like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
No, I'm not crying, yeah.
I'm fine.
Oh, and here we go. This is the line that's the arrow shot forward. It says, yet there was a flaw in this wonderful plan of mine. The flaw in the plan, indeed, which is the title of the final chapter.
of the entire book. Yes, indeed. The flaw in the plan.
Yep.
It's an important sentence, people.
Yes.
An obvious flaw that even I knew then might be the undoing of it all. And yet, knowing how important it was to my plan to succeed, I told myself that I would not permit this flaw to ruin it. I alone could prevent this, so I alone must be strong. And here was my first test. As you lay in the hospital wing, weak from your struggle with Voldemort. I don't understand what you're saying, said Harry. Don't you remember asking me as you lay in the hospital wing why Voldemort had tried to kill you when you were a baby? Harry nodded. Ought to I have told you then? And it's like,
I don't know. It feels like a power dynamic situation. You know, I just like woke up from fainting and I'd been out for like 4 days. And
dude, I'm 11.
I'm 11. Yeah. I was like, what about the Sorcerer's Stone?
Exactly. Yeah. You do not see the flaw in the plan yet. No, perhaps not.
Yes.
Well, as you know, I decided not to answer you. 11, I told myself, was much too young to know. You know, and again, this kind of goes back to the thought, which is like what if it had been 50 years?
Right.
You know, it's like 11
When would you told him?
11 might be way too young,
right,
if he has way more time to live.
Right.
So, you know, you could see it. It always feels like weird and kind of like, what are you talking about? Like Harry's going to live a weird life no matter what. You got to tell him.
Right.
But he doesn't. But that's how I could rationalize it. It's that if it could have taken 50 years, then it's like maybe you wait until he's like 25 and a full blown Auror. And it's just sort of like, by the way, you're kind of important.
That would be so interesting. Like if Harry just returned to the wizarding world and like, yeah, Voldemort was like sort of a thing, but like literally nothing weird happened. He just had 7 normal years of school.
Just education.
Education, you know, joined the workforce. And Dumbledore's like, well, all right, Harry, I've got some important information for you.
Right.
You remember Voldemort? He's like, the guy who like killed my parents? He's like, yeah, him.
Yeah, I have a hard time forgetting. Go on.
Well, there was this prophecy, you see. And, well, you've been marked. You're a marked man, Harry. You are going to, one day he'll come back, and I'm afraid it's going to have to be you who kills him. I feel like that would be a whole different story wherein Harry has like a more of like a Simba approach. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, right. Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
Remember, Harry,
yeah,
who you are.
You're just sitting across the table from me. He's like, yes, I am, and I can't help but notice you're not drinking your whiskey. I'm not finishing this.
I've sent you so many copies of The Lion King. Will you please watch it?
Yeah. I didn't come here to be told I have to like murder somebody, some dark wizard who murdered my parents who hasn't been seen in 25 years. Spits the whiskey out. Yeah. Dumbledore's like, oh, so close.
So close.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. I should have recognized the dangers then. I should have recognized the dangers then. But I knew one day I must give you an answer. I should have recognized that. I was too happy to think that I did not have to do it on that particular day. You were too young, much too young. And then we go through all of Harry's resume, basically here. And you kind of know what happens. Year 2, he fights a basilisk. Year 3, he's struggling with like whether or not Sirius is like a good guy or a bad guy, and there's Dementors around and stuff like that. And then he goes into the maze in year 4, and then comes back, and Cedric's dead. Not a time to laugh, but Dumbledore does seem to like let out like a small like little twitch of the mustache there.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like, yeah, you came out of the maze, you know, last year having watched Cedric Diggory die, having escaped death so narrowly yourself. Did you just read that?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
But that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was a joke you thought he was making.
I thought you were making a joke.
I was.
What was your joke?
Okay, hold on. Let's
just
back it up here. Okay. Yeah, I guess it was 4th year. And I mean, you got to hand it to Dumbledore. He tries to like lighten the mood. He's like, but you came out of the maze last year having watched Cedric Diggory die, having escaped death so narrowly yourself, to which I'm like, you know, not really the time for jokes. You know? He also eventually does reveal what the flaw in the plan was. And it's that I cared about you too much, said Dumbledore simply. I cared more for your happiness than your knowledge for the truth, more for your peace of mind than my plan. Okay, so the question is then, if this is the flaw in the plan, then how does this apply to the final chapter? And the way in which it applies to the final chapter is that Dumbledore considers this to be the flaw in the plan, that he cared about Harry too much and didn't tell him this information early enough, because if he did, maybe Sirius wouldn't have died. It's true on today that with this information, Sirius Black might not have died. However, what it is going to ultimately be is that like the flaw in the plan in Dumbledore's eyes is that he cared too much about Harry's well-being. But in caring about Harry's well-being, he actually forges him into the man he meant to be. So the flaw in the plan is not really the flaw in the plan. The flaw in the plan is the decision to try and avoid loving Harry. But he thinks he's made a flaw by beginning to love Harry. But of course, Dumbledore's whole thing is that love conquers all.
Right.
So what he actually does is like the correct thing. It's just that this is like a really unintended consequence along the way.
And you know what's I just got full body chills, but like what I do think is really interesting about that as well is that like he keeps talking about trying to like preserve Harry's childhood, and like we the reader of course look at it through the lens of like imagine being an 11-year-old and having to like fight the Dark Lord or whatever. It's like Harry is not having an ordinary childhood no matter which way you slice it. However, when Harry does ultimately have to like shoulder the full responsibility, he pushes away Ginny, who, to be fair, understands. And he tries to push away Ron and Hermione as well. And even on this very evening, he tries to go alone.
Right.
Basically is like, okay, fine, Ron and Hermione can come, but not the rest of you.
Right.
So like Harry does try to go at it alone. So when you think about so much of like who Harry becomes and like even the ways in which he like thinks of, you know, Ron and Hermione in moments of like absolute need and serious in times of absolute need. Like when Voldemort's possessing Harry, he's like, you know, I'm going to die. I will die right now, but at least I'll see Sirius again.
Right.
And it's like, that's enough, you know, to like force Voldemort out. It's too much love. It's like Harry doesn't get to have a normal childhood. I don't think anybody's questioning that, but he does get several years to forge the friendships that are fundamental to like, yeah, like him growing into the person that he is, having the support system that he needs, the help along the way, whether it's just pure friendship from Ron or logic and intelligence and support from Hermione. And so it's like, you know, if he had arrived at school on day one and Dumbledore pulls him aside, you know, after he's been sorted and it's like, hey, by the way, you're a marked man. It's like, does Harry make friends? Like, or does he like, I can't do that to people.
Right.
You know, like I couldn't possibly ask them to be my friend when they're signing up for a losing battle.
Right. Instead, because he doesn't know any of this and doesn't want to shove people away, he makes these incredible friendships. And those are the people who end up, you know, helping him win the fight.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So the flaw in the plan, yeah, not really a flaw.
Not really the flaw. The flaw is thinking that the flaw was the flaw.
Yeah, nice.
Exactly.
It's a freaky flaw.
It's a freaky flaw. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. It says, what did I care if numbers of nameless and faceless people and creatures were slaughtered in the vague future? If the here and now you're alive and well and happy, I never dreamed I would have such a person on my hands. Yeah, nice narrow view for a guy who had such a plan. Let's see. Was I to tell you then at the moment you had triumphed, snatched your godfather from the jaws of the ministry? Yeah. So basically he just goes through Harry's whole resume, like we kind of said. But then we get to the big bomb right down here, which is that where he finally tells him why Voldemort tried to kill him. And it says, Voldemort tried to kill you when you were a child because of a prophecy made shortly before your birth. He knew the prophecy had been made, though he did not know its full contents. So we have more convoluted things here. So we are getting the answer, but in the same sentence we get the answer, we get new mysteries, which is who overheard the prophecy?
Exactly.
Why didn't he have all the information?
Right, yes.
And that is the other mystery we're going to be dealing with for the rest of the series.
That's exactly right. It's like we can peel back a couple of layers of mystery, but only because we're replacing them with other layers of mystery.
Exactly.
Yep. Let's see here. Yeah. So that my little note here is Voldemort tried to kill you when you were a child because of a prophecy made shortly before your birth. And I wrote, there, I said it.
Yeah. Woo, are we done?
Yes.
How about some ice cream?
Yes.
Dexter, do you know a guy?
Wink, 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 wink.
I hear they have rum raisin, Harry.
We could share.
You thinking?
2 scoops.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Oh, man. But however, Voldemort had not heard the prophecy in its entirety, and this is the weapon that he'd been seeking so assiduously since his return, the knowledge of how to destroy you.
This is the weapon. That's what you were calling a weapon the whole time. I feel like that's a little misleading to the reader, honestly.
It's very misleading to the reader. The only thing you could really be working off with here is that, like, the rest of the Order of the Phoenix does not know the contents of the prophecy either. So they may also believe, even if they know it's a prophecy, that it may contain this particular piece of information. And so would Voldemort. So it's like, to be fair, maybe Voldemort believes that this could be true about the prophecy. It just ultimately isn't, given the actual context of the prophecy. Because realistically, everything that the prophecy tells Voldemort, especially learning after the fact, all the damage has already been done.
Right.
Because Voldemort is already going to hunt Harry no matter what until either Harry or him wins.
Right.
And the powers the Dark Lord knows not, Markham is his equal. Like, Voldemort is never going to take those things as serious threats. He will still believe he can beat Harry.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's not going to take those as serious. Dumbledore already said that. It's like there's a power that you possess that he does not understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but Harry's going to be like, well, the prophecy smashed. So, you know, I was pulling up Neville those benches. He was doing a jig. He kicked it. You know, the room where the archway was. I ripped his robes and it fell. Wait, is that what he says? The room where the archway was, and I ripped his robes and it fell. That's not what happened, right? I guess it fell, and then Neville kicked it with his tiny legs. That's what happened. Okay,
that's what happened.
Okay, tell the full story, Harry.
Harry's inside of this super serious moment. He can't help but like let out a giggle. It's like Neville's legs were going. I mean, just everywhere. He kicked the prophecy and broke it, but man, anything else, it would have been hilarious.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, he kicked it hard too. It went far.
Went far. Yeah, we're thinking about signing him up as beater and just tying the things to his legs and just
right.
casting the spell on him and letting him fly around.
Letting him go around. He just kicks the bludgers with his little legs.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, Dumbledore's like, actually, that was just the record of the prophecy. The guy who heard it, he can recall it perfectly. I'm not going to say who it is because I want you to ask me. Who heard it? Me!
It was me. It was me.
It was me. Good news for you.
That's right. Yep, I've got it completely. And so we get kind of the explanation of the night that he went to the Hogshead Inn to go see an applicant for the post of divination teacher, even though it was against his inclination to allow the subject of divination to continue at all. The applicant was a great-granddaughter of a very gifted seer. This is actually like, reverse corroborated with an interview question from Umbridge when she is sitting in on Trelawney's class.
Yeah.
That like she is related to Cassandra Trelawney.
Yeah. And that's when she says that she was hired like 15 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
And now you understand the circumstances.
We got the whole timetable in play. Dumbledore goes over, collects the pensive, sets it down, and sort of basically like pulls the thought from his mind, taps it with his wand, and a figure rose out of it, draped in shawls, her eyes magnified to enormous sizes behind her glasses, and she revolved slowly, her feet in the basin. But when Sybil Patricia Trelawney spoke, it was not in her usual ethereal mystic voice, but in the harsh hoarse tones that Harry had heard her use once before.
The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches, born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the 7th month dies, and the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have power the Dark Lord knows not, and neither must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord will be born as the 7th month dies.
Man, how's your throat?
That one hurt.
I was going to say, you get to like the last sentence. I was like, I could feel it.
Yeah, it's a little hoarse indeed.
No modification there, people. That was authentic.
Yeah.
The silence within the office was absolute. Neither Dumbledore, nor Harry, nor any of the portraits made a sound. Even Fawkes had fallen silent.
Yeah, all the portraits are like, whoa.
Yeah.
We all know.
And then Harry's like, Professor Dumbledore, what did that mean? To which I imagine all the portraits and Fawkes are like, yeah, what did it mean?
Yeah, what did it mean? Dumbledore, explain it. Explain it, Dumbledore.
Yeah. It meant that the person who has the only chance of conquering Lord Voldemort for good was born at the end of July, nearly 16 years ago. This boy would be born to parents who had already defied Voldemort 3 times.
Right.
And Harry's like, it means me?
And Dumbledore does everything he can to avoid answering. He's like, the thing is, it might not have meant you initially. Harry.
Could have been someone else.
Could have been Neville.
Yep. It's like, then he's like, but then why was my name on the prophecy and not Neville's? And it's like, well, the official record was relabeled after Voldemort's attack on you as a child. It seemed plain to the keeper of the Hall of Prophecy that Voldemort could only
How does the keeper of the Hall of Prophecy know what it said?
I have no idea.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But even here, I feel like Dumbledore's hedging a little bit further because he's like, it seemed to the keeper of the Hall of Prophecy.
He's trying to get Harry's hopes up right here, right to the last second. So Harry's like, so you're telling me there's a chance? And he's like, well, I'm afraid there is no doubt that it is you.
And Harry's like, but you just said
Neville
End of July, too. We never celebrate his birthday because we're not at school. I've always related to that about him.
Right. He doesn't send me birthday cards. I don't send them to him. You know, we have an agreement.
We have an agreement, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah. But you said Neville was born, too, at the end of July. And it's like, you were forgetting the next part of the prophecy. The final identifying feature of the boy who could vanquish Voldemort. Voldemort himself would mark him as his equal. And so he did, Harry. He chose you, not Neville. He gave you the scar that has proved both blessing and curse.
It's like, but he might have got it wrong. He might have marked the wrong man. It might not be me, Dumbledore. It could, it might not be me. I mean, every single event in my entire life since I got back to this school points to it being me, but who knows? I don't want to do it.
It's like it could still be Neville.
Could still be Neville, right? I would trust Neville. I would do it. You know what? He's a good wizard. He's a good kid. I like our odds with Neville at the helm.
That's it. That's it. Yep. But then you kind of get like a little bit of the hypocrisy. Notice this, Harry. He chose not the pure blood, which according to his creed is the only kind of wizard worth being or knowing, but the half-blood, like himself. He saw himself in you, to which I circled in you because there is some of himself in Harry.
In Harry, indeed.
Yeah. Before he had ever seen you, and in marking you with that scar, he did not kill you as he intended, but gave you powers and a future which have fitted you to escape him not once, but 4 times so far. Something that
baby, quarrel, diary, graveyard, ministry. That's 5.
That's 5. It's like this is where Harry's got to be sitting there. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm not listening. I'm trying to count all the times I've defied Lord Voldemort. What are you up to? I've got 5.
I've got 5. You noticed you said 4, but I'm pretty sure it's 5.
Which of those are you not counting? If you say baby, I will punch you right here, right now.
You're not counting the diary because that wasn't technically him. Okay, right? I mean, there was a basilisk. Okay, whose sword is that? Whose sword is that? Don't say Godric Gryffindor.
That's Harry Potter's sword.
That's Harry Potter's sword. Okay.
Oh man, yeah. Then Harry obviously points out, it's like, well, why did you do it as a baby? Why didn't you just wait to see whether Neville or I looked more dangerous? And I'm like, what would that even look like?
Yeah.
That might have indeed been the more practical course, which I think is a generous response from Dumbledore because I think it's a stupid question.
Yeah. He's really trying. He's like, Harry seems like he's not angry anymore. All right.
We'll take that. Absolutely.
We're coming back around.
Yep.
Yes.
Voldemort's information about the prophecy was incomplete. The Hogshead Inn, which Sybil chose for its cheapness, had long attracted, shall we say, a more interesting clientele. And it's kind of interesting because Harry experienced this himself, where he is overheard when
I love how he
DA.
throws Sybil under the bus when he absolutely does not have to. He could just say, the Hogshead Inn has long attracted, shall we say, a more interesting clientele.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Hogshead Inn, which Sybil chose. I want you to know, not me, Sybil.
Cheapness,
Harry. Who runs that pub? I don't even know.
I don't even know. It's not my brother.
It's not my brother. It's not his fault. It's Sybil's fault.
This bird isn't my nephew.
Yeah.
Probably. It could be. I honestly don't know. I never finished the
We'll
movies.
never know. I didn't get to see the 4th movie.
That's a Fantastic Beast reference. In case anybody out there decided not to watch those, I would not blame you. Let's see here. I had not dreamed when I set out to meet Sybil Trelawney that I would hear anything worth overhearing, which is a fair point. Like, it's like you're going to this meeting. For him, this is just a regular day.
Right.
Like, you do not know that like one of the most important things in your entire life is about to happen.
Right.
Yeah. But the eavesdropper was detected only a short way into the prophecy and
the eavesdropper.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that was. Not your potions teacher, that's for sure.
The next line should absolutely be Harry raised his hand in the air. I has a question.
Who was the eavesdropper?
Who was it? And do we employ him? And do you force me to call him Professor? Professor?
Do you know who the eavesdropper was? Like, we asked them. How do you know exactly which parts he heard?
Also, imagine this happening in real time because Dumbledore's sitting there. He's getting up to leave when she goes into the trance, right? Like, and that means that like Dumbledore's almost like turning, hearing her do her thing, detecting somebody at the door, casting a spell to launch them from the building while also perfectly memorizing everything she says.
Such as Dumbledore's way.
Yeah. It reminds me of like the way he's like controlling the golden statues at the same time as like fighting.
Just splitting his mind into like 7 pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah. He did not know that you would have power. So he tells him that Basically, as far as Voldemort is concerned, all he heard was the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches, born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the seventh month dies. End. That's where Voldemort stops.
Right. So whoever the eavesdropper is could not warn his master that the attack on you would risk transferring power to you, again, marking you as his equal. So Voldemort never knew that there might be danger in attacking you. And this is always one of those things where it's like, this is all very convenient for the plot and everything. I still don't think it would have stopped Voldemort.
Definitely not.
Especially when he's attacking like a child.
A baby.
Yeah. He would just think himself superior. That's just part of his problem.
Yeah, right.
But he did not, although that's kind of interesting because like you can't attack a baby is something Hermione says when the one Death Eater said.
That's
and
true.
it's like, you're right, Hermione.
You're right.
You can't attack a baby.
Can't attack a baby.
That's a good point.
That's how this all started.
For clarity, I didn't need to be reminded of that, but I remember asking the question about it then, but now we're here and I click.
Yeah. You can't attack a baby. It's like, I was attacked as a baby. You can, Hermione.
Sort of a sore point for me, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Dumbledore is going to explain to him that it is also perhaps the most mysterious of them, or he tells him, there is a room in the Department of Mysteries that is kept locked at all times. It contains a force that is at once more wonderful and more terrible than death, than human intelligence, than forces of nature. It is also perhaps the most mysterious of the many subjects for study that reside there. It is the power held within that room which you possess in such quantities and which Voldemort has none at all, which he still does not name it, but it is love is what he's talking about.
Yes, but we do know like that this is the door that he tried to tap into.
Right.
That was locked.
That melted the knife.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That power also saved you from possession by Voldemort because he could not bear to reside in your body, so full of a force he detests. In the end, it mattered not that you could not close your mind. It was your heart that saved you.
Boy, just come out and say it, man. You talk in big circles.
I know, he really does. This is also kind of like an interesting phrasing too, because we've talked a lot as Harry like goes into the forest and his like instincts are like totally off. And it kind of hails back to a sentiment that Voldemort will bring up in King's Cross Station, which is like I hoped your hot head wouldn't get in the way of your good heart.
Right.
And this is again, basically Dumbledore saying like your heart is like your key ingredient, basically.
Right. Yeah. That's where the love comes from.
The love.
And then Harry just sits in silence for a while and says, the end of the prophecy, something about neither can live while the other survives. And does that mean that one of us has got to kill the other one in the end? And I'm like, it's interesting that those are the words you chose, because I think actually what it says was that one must die at the hand of the other. That's the part that says one of you has to kill each other. Not neither can live while the other survives.
Right. Yes. But this is the confirmation from Dumbledore. Yes, that is exactly what has to happen.
Yes. Your life must include or end in murder.
Yes, which is not great choices.
Not good choices. And Harry's going to be like, hold my beer. Just kidding, Dumbledore. Hold my water.
My Powerade.
Yeah, hold my Powerade.
I need the electrolytes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So anyway, he says, it seemed impossible there could be people of the world who still desired food, who laughed, who neither knew nor cared that Sirius Black was gone forever. This is kind of the same feeling Harry had when he was walking into the forest with Umbridge, and he's like, people are having dinner right now. I cannot believe this. You know?
I know, yes.
How can this be?
It really is such a relatable experience, though, that like if you're ever personally experiencing trauma and if you're like driving down the road or walking in a park or doing any of those things, like you can look around at everybody and you're like, they are so light. They have no idea what it feels right now to be feeling what I'm feeling.
Right.
And yet they're just out here for a jog or driving to work or, going to see a movie or something.
Whatever they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like you have such envy for those people in that moment, and yet you could never be that person in that moment.
Yeah. But so then Dumbledore, I feel like, does tell a bit of a joke here at the end. He's like dropped all this and he's like, oh, also, I guess you might be wondering, I didn't make you a prefect. I'll go ahead and throw that in here at the end. And I must confess, I rather thought you had enough responsibility to be going on with.
This is, I think this is like an interesting one from a variety of different like directions. Like it feels like at some point in time it needed to be explained, and you certainly can't have after this conversation another passing conversation with Dumbledore, and yet the explanation about the prefect badge hasn't come up yet.
Right.
And so whether or not it's meant to be like, I know we're talking of life and death and everything, but those prefect badges, I'm so sorry I didn't give you one.
Right.
It's like, because there's no other time to like explain it, so this has to be the time to explain it.
I like how it's a little bit throwing Ron under the bus as well. You may have wondered why I didn't choose you as a prefect. And it's like, I must confess, you were my first choice. Let's get it out of the way.
Let's get it out of
you
the
were
way.
clearly the first choice.
Do you think I was going to pick Ron?
Yeah. Come on, Ron. Wait, Neville? Not even Voldemort's second choice, right?
Should have been Dean.
Should have been
honestly.
Dean. Really, might have gone with Dean. That might have been the way to do it. When I think back on it, making Ron, that was going to cause a divide. Yeah, that was going to do it.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. I like how for in this case, though, it's like the prophecy is like it's going to be Harry or Neville, and Voldemort's like, all right, Harry or Neville, got it. Choice 1, choice 2, and Dumbledore's like, all right, it's going to be Harry or not Neville.
No.
We're going Ron.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Neville getting picked last and everything, including being the target of the Dark Lord.
I know. He's like the second chosen one, but he's the third one for Dumbledore.
Yes, indeed. Oh my gosh. I feel like for such a serious chapter, we were able to manage a few laughs, which is so vitally important. But that does bring us to the end of chapter 37 and looking forward to next week's episode of chapter 38. And Jay, because we are a full 35 minutes past closing time, we may need to close it for today.
I was going to say the same thing. So we do not have a review, but if you want to leave us one, that would be fantastic. And if you want to hear us continue to discuss more Harry Potter things, you can always check us out on Patreon, where we every week also do a bonus episode called The Owlery, where we answer one of the questions that the patrons have sent in. So you get a little bonus after the fact episode, and we will still be doing that this week. So.
That's right, indeed. Yep, absolutely. Yep. So patreon.com/throughthegryffindor. But otherwise, oh wait, no, sorry, you close this one.
Yeah. But otherwise, make sure you join us next week for the final chapter in Order of the Phoenix. It's chapter 38. The Second War begins here on Through the Gryffindor.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.